So I commented under this post, in the Black Sip Movement post,
You don't think you
and
did?
it had 7 reasons to check out Costa de Este, Panama. Right.
Mm.
So I read the article, but I had to something really disturbed me initially, because the way it was written about being close to the airport, and I'm like, look, being close to the airport is dope, but not
Kinda
close, but not close, because that's ass. But so I continued to read though, and it said it's convenient to the airport without being too close. So it's like about 9 miles away from it. And Will said
what up, Biddy? What up, Mr.
Biddy? Mr. Anderson. He says the entire city is close to the airport, and there is another airport right across the bridge too, as well as at Albrook. That's near the mall. It's one of the big ass malls down there. We will be flying out of Panama Pacifica to visit Colombia next month. Cheap flights. I'm gonna need that because I'm gonna have to come back and forth. I'm gonna come back and forth and to the States for Comic Cons and shit like that. Fabo, Mighty Mike Gleason. Speaking of ass, I am here. Hilarious. Hilarity ensued.
I mean, doesn't always when Mike enters the picture.
That's his new on screen name. Facts. Mike Hilarity ensued Gleason. Bowflex.
What up? Oh.
So I got a new segment today, right? Wait till you see it.
I don't. I'm scared.
Speaking of hilarity ensuing,
I'm terrified.
All sort of ensuing of hilarity going on.
Absolutely terrified. Absolutely positively terrified.
Hey man, look, don't be afraid.
No, it's
very
late.
Afraid.
It is too late.
Shit. So, my mother-in-law is out of the country. Although I'm not quite sure where she is right now. Like which country she's in, because she's visiting a bunch of them motherfuckers in these 3 weeks. A bunch of them. And I think it's supposed to end in Dubai, but I know she started in South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
So that's I gotta look at the map again, but that sounds like a pretty wide gap in between.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely.
I know she posted a picture. She was on it's a place in South Africa that is world renowned for being the southernmost tip of Africa. They literally have a sign there that says the southernmost tip of Africa and shit.
I kind of feel like that's not a necessary sign.
I don't think it is either, because you can kind of,
because it's called South Africa.
I mean,
it's the
southernmost.
I know that sometimes I know that sometimes the words don't match up with what they're supposed to be, but in this scenario, I think it's safe to assume that South Africa would contain the southernmost tip.
Yeah, and I gotta imagine, just from a few travel videos I've seen, there's plenty of other things to laud over there than that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, listen, who am I? I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
I've never been to South Africa. I've been to Africa.
Nah, I really didn't have any didn't really have any intentions.
Oh, zero. Absolutely zero.
South Africa. However,
none.
I feel like when she comes back, she's gonna tell me some things.
Sure. Oh, crap.
You know what I'm saying? That's gonna sound pleasant. And it's not the way it used to be and all of that, but it's just something about I just never had to.
Oh, of course. There's no way it's
never had to.
But this ain't how it used to be, and it's still shitty. So
thank you, son. Exactly. I'm still over this motherfucker
right
now. So you know what I mean, like, it is what it is. What up, sis?
What up?
Mike, like, at first I was afraid. I was petrified.
Yeah, I'm all of the above.
Oh man, oh man, the shepherds. It's been a rough week, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm sorry. Hold on. The idea behind the colloquialism of the word petrified is that you're scared stiff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what that is.
All right.
That's what that is. But you know, better scared stiff than scared straight. So
I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure that's the case, though. Not quite sure that's the case.
I gave it a shot. What do you want from
me? I don't know.
Man, listen. It is what it is. So it's 11:01. I'm guessing
it is.
You might as well get the intro and shit out the way. You've been better at that the last couple of episodes.
Much.
Let's continue that trend right there.
Yeah.
Me. Welcome everyone to the Black Culture Geeks podcast. This is my man SPJ. And I am Tombstone the Dead Man. And we are just a couple of geeks talking about pop culture from a black perspective. Facts indeed. So as I was saying, it's been a rather rough week. Whole bunch of shit. Whole bunch of unfortunate shit. But not overly surprising.
No,
right?
No.
You know what I'm saying? Because we've said on
that's
the show
worse.
Before. Yeah, it is. Actually, it is worse. It actually is worse. But we've said on the show before, when all of these numerous other events have taken place over the 3 or 4 years this show has been in existence, we said, and it's going to happen again.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to certain things, chimps learn, right? Oh, you know, this is a long strand of grass right here. I can slide this into this termite tower right here and pull out a whole bunch of termites, have a tasty protein, shot of protein right there. They learn that. But when it comes to other things, chimps don't learn.
Well, hold on. No, hold on. Chimps only seem to learn when it benefits them.
Exactly.
There we go.
Exactly. Now, that's when they recognize that it benefits them. Because some shit that they don't learn about would benefit them to learn.
Oh, absolutely.
And this is one of the lessons we hope that people walk away from this episode with, because the reason why shit continues to happen is because people keep doing the same shit.
I mean,
and also the word that everybody's afraid of, systemic.
Yeah.
Y'all running from that shit. And as long as you're running from it, there will be no fix. There will be no fix for any of it. Face your fears. We got stuff, of course, to talk about. Plenty today. But I'm going to start with... I'm just going to say fuck it and start with the new segment.
Oh, God.
What if you shut the fuck up? Like,
wait.
What if like, see,
I can't stand you.
See,
I swear I can't stand you.
See, we only know that you're either a bad actor or dumb as a motherfucker when you do this. And unfortunately, we live in a day and time where everybody feels like their opinion is so fucking precious. Even if they don't know a goddamn thing about the topic they have an opinion on.
Oh, sure. Because why would that be a prerequisite?
Right. You know how I can tell when you don't know what the fuck you're talking about? When you're literally using a word out of the context of what the word is supposed to be, like the overall meaning of the word. And it's so obvious. You should know this. You should know this. It leads me to believe either you are dumb as a motherfucker or you're a bad faith actor. One or the other. So part of this, and I've seen this all week, but to be clear, I've seen this,
for eons.
For eons now. And it's kind of weird, but I think it's exacerbated more in recent times because motherfuckers don't want to be held accountable for shit that they're responsible for.
I mean, I get it.
So I do too.
There are times when I don't want to be held.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's human nature. You know what I'm saying? Damn, I know I did that, but fuck it.
Right.
I know I did that, but fuck it. We're going to unfortunately have to talk about politics for a minute, but not in the way you think, at least not in this portion of the show.
I mean, politics be politicking. They
really do. Because there are people out there that seem to be invested in disassociating themselves from certain political beliefs.
Yeah.
And also disassociating those beliefs.
Wait. Certain political beliefs that they own.
Fucking own, right? And also disassociating those political beliefs from the boots on the ground effects.
Mm-hmm.
We're not talking to some thought experiments. We're talking boots on the ground. And the only reason you would think that you're disconnected from that is because you don't know how politics work. Now, I don't know how it started. I don't know who convinced the first group of people that politics aren't related to conditions on the ground of real people. I don't know how that happened. I don't know how that got separated. But I think what needs to happen first is maybe the word politics has to be defined for those who never knew what the word meant in the first place. So politics is the process by which groups of people make collective decisions. The study of these processes is referred to as political science. In a democratic country, politics typically involves the making of laws and policies through discussion and debate among representatives elected by who? Citizens. Who's a citizen in the United States here? Raise your hand.
The populace.
Yeah. Now, in a dictatorship, politics may include the rule of a single person or group who holds all power. Politics can also refer to the actions, the actions and strategies of individuals and groups in order to achieve specific goals within a government or society. In general, politics involves using power to influence the actions and decisions of individuals, groups, and organizations. Say that again with me. Individuals, groups, and organizations.
Yeah,
that's about right. That covers about everybody, right?
So let me ask all encompassing.
Which one of these do you fall in? Because at some time or another,
I am an anomaly.
Which you are as the watcher. You just watching. you just watching this shit. But at some time or another, we all fall in all these categories. But for the moment, let's just talk about individual because that's at the crux of this for real. But hold on to that. Keep that definition in the tuck because I'm going to come back. But first, I need to explain human emotion. Now, I really shouldn't have to explain human emotion. I shouldn't, but here's the problem. They're having a problem making a connection between why somebody would feel a way about you for political opinions and political actions. They don't know how that connection is made, and I gotta make the connection. So as fucked up as this is, I gotta do it. The brain is a complex organ, and emotions are processed by a number of different areas. The limbic system, which includes the amygdala and the hippocampus, start to play a key role in the processing of emotions. The amygdala is involved in the recognition and response to emotional stimuli, particularly those that are fear-inducing. The hippocampus is involved in the formation of new memories and the recall of old memories. Then you got the prefrontal cortex, which is located in the front of the brain. It's also thought to play a role in emotions and is involved in the regulation of emotional responses. It's worth noting that different regions of the brain process different emotions and that those regions also interact with each other to give rise to an entire emotional experience. Now, why did I bring all that up, and how does it relate to politics?
What up, Jonathan?
What up, Jonathan? See, the average person that is of age to vote and actually does vote, what do you think you're voting for? So let's assume you're voting to get certain laws passed or annulled.
No. Best dressed.
Best dressed?
What up, McKenna?
What up, McKenna? You're either voting for something or against something. Now, these are general statements, and I'm well aware that not everybody votes for the same reasons or that way. So I got to put that out there because the well-actuallys will flood us with the bullshit. But here's the problem. Politics covers everything in society that we all live in. Let's just call it quality of life, you motherfuckers. Quality of life. Let's dump it all in the quality of life. I'm talking about tax money being used, how it's collected, how it's spent, upkeep roads, bridges, military, local police, whether they're reformed or not. All of this is part of the political landscape right there. It's things that politics covers. But this is the reason why people will be mad at you. And I'm going to give you an example. So say you live in a block, right? Very narrow street. And there's a pothole in the middle of that goddamn street. Every time you leave, because it's one way, you can't go the other way. Every time you leave, your car hits this fucking pothole. And it's doing damage. And you don't have the money to afford taking your car to the mechanic to get it fixed. This is the only car you're going to have for a while, and this shit fucking sucks.
You could just not hit the pothole.
I mean, no, your street is narrow, so the pothole is just ass. Like,
go a different way.
You're gonna.
Catch
it's like the 500 block of Dennison Street. The 500 block of Dennison Street is so fucking narrow. Yo, do you know a bus used to go down there? That's a two-way street. A bus used to go down there. But this is I'm talking a street like that. That's one way. And then somebody starts running for office, and they say, you got two people start running for office, and they say, you know what? I'm gonna fix that pothole. If you elect me, I'm gonna get that pothole fixed for you. The other guys on the other side of that, man, we're not wasting your tax money on potholes. There's other more important things we need to spend money on. So the election happens, and the guy that doesn't want to fix the pothole wins. So that means you have to deal with this pothole in your street that you have to hit with the only car that you can afford at the time every day. You're not going to feel a way about the motherfuckers that voted for that motherfucker to keep that pothole from being fixed? Of course you will, because it's affecting your quality of life. So I don't want to hear anymore people not understanding. You might disagree with whether or not this negatively affects somebody's quality of life or not.
I mean,
you might disagree with that. But you really
with...
can't. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But when they're making their decision process on who they're going to vote for, maybe they factor that ain't so bad. You know what I'm saying? They might factor that ain't so bad. But trust and believe that the person that didn't get what they want and what they wanted was a way to better their quality of life, they're going to be fucking pissed. And that's human nature. And I should not have had to explain all of that, except for the fact that people want to disassociate themselves. They don't want the heat for that political action you did. You voted for a certain thing, and it degraded somebody's quality of life. Whether you think it did or not, they feel it did. And they're going to feel a way, especially when you consistently do that. When you consistently vote for shit that they feel degrades their quality of life, they're not just going to be mad at the politician. They're going to be mad at him or her first because she's the face of it. When you go out there and start publicly announcing your support for said pothole in the middle of the street, motherfuckers are going to be pissed. We should not be surprised about none of that shit. It's human nature. And if you're going to support some shit, you better stand on it 10 toes down. because I don't want to hear like the whining. Stop running. Stop talking about being unfairly judged. And stop acting like you're so special and you're so enlightened that you don't understand why anybody is angry with you. You helped put a jackass in office consistently because you supported policies that others feel degrade their quality of life. So you're getting the heat too. That's how that works.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what you could do to avoid all that? The name of this segment. What if just shut the fuck up? That's always an option. If you don't want pushback in the quote unquote free market of ideas, shut the fuck up. That's it. What a wonderful world it could be. And that is the end of the first segment of What If You Just Shut the Fuck Up. Any questions?
No, I think you
I covered that.
Yeah, I think you got that one.
There are other things, of course, that we're gonna talk about that I could have added in this because this is a cornucopia.
Pretty much. I'm fairly certain everything that we talk about today.
bro. Oh hell yeah! Because I was also thinking about the Paul Pelosi video. Some of y'all was wilding before that video came out, and y'all gonna do what up, free thinker?
What up, free thinker?
Y'all gonna do. Y'all gonna do what you always do. Y'all come up with these dumbass conspiracies, and then the truth gets out, and then you hide your hand. You hide in the rock. You hide in the cave. What are you talking about? And you pretend you were normal like the rest of us. You motherfuckers ran around this bitch talking about, that was probably Paul Pelosi's lover. I saw this legitimately.
Sure.
I legitimately saw that shit.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I saw these aspersions being cast, not from just random tweeters, no, because you NPCs will say any fucking thing. I saw this from people with cameras in their face every day that get paid 6 figures or more to influence the way the public see shit. I saw them saying that shit. You know what I see after the video? Crickets. Once again, because when you see that shit, if you haven't seen the Pelosi video, that shit was wild, B.
I mean,
that shit was wild, B. Like, bruh. And that's the part that bothers me about that too, because this is not even about self-interest, or at least the self-interest that they think. If you make light of that, if you think that's cool, just know, if you're somebody in the public eye who makes a living out of pissing people off for the takes you make, and you think that's cool what happened to Paul, what could have happened to Nancy if she'd have been there,
mm-hmm.
If you think that's cool, just know what you're opening yourself up for. Because you be saying, Tuckums Carlson, you be saying some wild shit sometimes. And in every group or community, there are people who ain't wrapped too tight. SBJ know what the fuck I'm talking about. Because all you gotta do is walk down Emerson Avenue. And you're gonna see people in Baltimore and they ain't wrapped too tight. They look like me, they look like James, they look like whatever. They ain't wrapped too tight.
Not quite.
Every community there's motherfuckers like that. And when you out there giving them the energy, putting the battery in their back to do shit like that, and then when it happens to your political rival or somebody you don't like, you're sitting there going, hey, that's funny. Hey, they should have had security. Hey, You're opening yourself up for that shit. You're opening yourself up because you piss people off too. And somebody
remember that
too tight. Exactly.
Stand on that.
Stand on it 10 toes down.
Mm-hmm.
I know you can't scrap because I saw the video where the motherfucker approached you in that store, Tuckums. I saw the video. I ain't seen you look like you wanted any smoke at all, for real. I know you can't scrap. See, it's one thing if you could put your dick beaters up and just you don't look like you that type. But you do a lot of this when that camera and that mic is right there. So you laughing at what happened to them? Public figures that are attacked in their home. My God, did you see the My man was at the back door like, with the hammer. He thought he was Thor. He had that hammer just.
He said he thought he was Thor.
Bro, that video is crazy. That video is crazy. From the break-in to when the police.
Oh, yeah.
The police were confronting him, and he's sitting there holding Paul, and Paul trying to keep his hand on the hammer because he knows that he's not worthy, but as long as Thor touches it, he can lift it and shit. You know what I'm saying? He trying to keep that shit from, because he know what the dude's about to try to do. And the dude was like, fuck it. Even if I get shot, I'm getting this off. I'm getting this off. And what did Tuckums and them do? And by the way, Tuckums wasn't the only one. It was some elected officials that made light of that shit. And again, I say to you, Nancy Pelosi is an elected official, just like you. And you be up there in Congress saying the wildest shit. When you get on these little news shows, y'all be saying some wild shit sometimes. Understand, you're opening the door. You are so angry at the other side. And that's both.
I mean,
y'all so angry at the other side that you're not thinking in self-interest anymore. If you salute some shit happening to somebody that's in your same field, let's say you're not even being an altruist, right? Let's say that's not even what it's self-interest, motherfucker.
Right.
Let me be the first to say I do not support podcasters getting hit in their fucking face.
No, nigga, no, I'm good.
I don't support it.
Nope. That's not how you guys are supposed to act.
I don't support rappers above the age of 50. No, I don't support it.
Load at the 30.
Load
at the 30.
I think all of that is true, but I'm just making the point about self-interest. You would think that would be inspiration enough to keep you from supporting some fuck shit like that, or making light of it, because like I told you, nigga, in every community is motherfuckers that ain't wrapped too tight. And they willing to do the shit you think is unthinkable. Well, surely they shit. Shit. Surely they would. Yeah, all right. You okay. I've witnessed. I've seen, bro, I've seen shit happen in the hood that even though we knew it was possible, it was in the realm of possibility, there was a probability or something like that. We never thought it would. I've sat there and watched that shit, mouth wide open, like, oh, this motherfucker did that shit too. That's in every community. Keep it up. Keep it up. And we're going to be talking about you on this show. We're going to be talking about you on this show. How somebody brought the hammer down. Yeah. It's real. It's real. It's
doesn't
real.
Really matter which hammer.
Exactly, free thinker. What you won't do, someone else will. What you think is unthinkable, someone else thought of it. Fuck out of here. But anyway, before we get into all of that,
yikes.
What was your week like?
Yikes.
Sir SPJ.
Nigga. So I wasn't going to say this first thing, but But you reminded me so graciously when you not reminded me because I knew I just wasn't gonna do it.
Yeah.
But then you said the whole throwing the rock behind your hand thing.
Yeah.
So there's this TikToker that goes by the name of Keith Lee.
Mm-hmm.
Who is Keith Lee, you might ask? He is a black man with family, wife, 2 kids, I think. He's a MMA fighter, but he does food reviews on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
He has blown the fuck up. As of yesterday, he just hit 10 million followers.
Whoa, what?
Yeah, as of yesterday, he just hit 10 million followers. Now, earlier in the week, and it's crazy because like at the end of the year at the end of the year or so, is when he started talking about how all these things were coming in focus and everything that he's been working so hard for is starting to come true and blah 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 blah. It's like good shit. It's a coronation. Yeah, it's a feel good story. So there was this video, not by him, some chick who is a television producer. She's a television producer. And in this video, she says, hey, my name is Jillian or whatever the fuck it is. Black woman. My name is Jillian. I'm a TV producer. I don't usually do stuff like this, but there's a TikToker who I've been talking to who is stealing my ideas. This TikToker, everybody loves them. They're stealing my ideas. I reached out to them for an idea. They said no. And then I turn around and see them on TikTok doing the same pitch that I gave them. And in the caption of her video, and for those who don't understand, when something's in the caption of a video you posted, it means you typed it.
That's right.
Okay, just let me clear.
Is that in the
caption? Hey, listen.
Damn.
In the caption, it says food critic or thief or thief or something like that. Something to that effect. For over 2 days, people were flooding her comments. Like, is this Keith? Is it Keith? Blah, blah, this Keith, blah, blah, Keith. Some people saying bad stuff about Keith, blah, 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 blah. Now, this part is debatable. I ain't see this part. People say that she was liking the comments that was asking if it was Keith. I don't know about that part. But what I do know is at no point did she respond to any of those comments and say, no, it's not Keith. At no point.
At no point.
And I also
there was no clarification. Right.
And I also know it wasn't a scenario where she was just too busy and didn't see the comments because she was in her comments commenting back to people.
Right.
Or different comments.
Right.
So, again, this went on for 2 whole days. Keith then makes a video basically clearing his name. Like, hey, there's this unnamed controversy going on right now. This person is saying that some food critic on TikTok stole from her. I talked to this person. Here are the receipts. She contacted me on this day. When I saw it, I sent back on this day, hey, I would love to meet with you. I also have a meeting tomorrow about another pitch. I also have a meeting some other day coming about another pitch. Then the next time they talked was the day after his first meeting. She pitched this to him. And basically he's like, the first meeting pitched this exact same show. She pitched this exact same show. And the third meeting he had pitched this exact same show. And the fans for weeks, if not months, have been pitching this exact same show. Why? Because it's not a novel idea. The idea of the show is just Diners, Drive-In, and Dives, which if you don't know, it's Guy Fieri's show where he goes to these lesser known restaurants and just put spotlight on them.
Right.
A mixture between that and I always say this name wrong. Iyanla, Fix My Life.
Oh yeah.
It's a mixture between the two of those, which is effectively what the fuck he had been doing on TikTok already.
Right.
Keep that in mind.
So, like you said, it's not like it's some idea.
It's not a crazy.
It has a precedent.
Original. No.
I hate when people do that, by the way.
Bro.
When they act like this idea that many others have already done is somehow groundbreaking. It's the same shit that everybody else did. You probably put your spin on it, but it's the same shit.
Same exact thing. So at the end of the video, he says, well, first of all, he points out, like, you just look, that's not me. As a TV producer, I'm assuming that you know, and I'm just assuming, but I'm assuming that you know how bad branding works and how detrimental it can be to somebody, how labels that aren't 100%. True can be bad to somebody's career.
What up, Randy?
Like, what up? And he like, guys, I do not condone any hate or tag comments. I'm just doing this to clear my name.
Right.
She makes a response. The response starts off, this is not an apology. Right. That's the very first thing that she says. So she's like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. I made this video about this person and stealing from me. Then she gave more details that she left out of the first video that, if true, would have helped Keith and the uncounted new eyes that were currently on her realize that she wasn't talking about Keith.
Yeah.
Then she outright says, Keith, this is for you. That video was not about you. I never thought that you would think that this video was about you. Blah, 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 blah. She then admonishes him for assuming that she was talking about him and not reaching out to her to clear it up. And then she implies that he's not responsible with his platform because people have been sending her hate comments. She says she woke up to people sending her comments, taking joy in her losing a baby and all these other horrible things, right? So she's turned all the comments off on all her videos, blah, blah, blah. Sure she hasn't posted since.
How long ago was that?
Days, nigga. It was I can tell you exactly. Hold on, give me a second. This was I gotta scroll because Keith did exactly what he was supposed to do. He talked about it once and he kept moving.
Yeah, that's what the
original video was 6 days ago. The second video was 3 days ago. Yeah. And again, she still has not posted anything. She still has not allowed comments back on her videos yet. So here's the thing. First off, you're lying. You're lying.
Yeah. Because
it would have been simple to clear that up with no issue. Either. Oh, first of all, I defy any of you to go on TikTok. TikTok right now and type in and search for food critic.
Right.
And see how many times Keith Lee's name comes up.
Hold up. I don't believe you.
Okay. All right. That's fine. You should not believe everything you're told. You should absolutely do the research yourself if you're possible.
Let's see. You say what now? Food critic in the search?
Critic. Yeah, food critic in the search. In the tickety tock search. You're going to see a bunch of videos from Keith Lee, a bunch of videos that tag Keith Lee, a bunch of videos that stitch Keith Lee, some videos that duet Keith Lee, some videos that impersonate Keith Lee. Oh, he's all the rage right now.
Yeah, well, apparently because of the horse shit that's gone on, when I put it up in there, I see comments about this incident. I see comments about this incident you're talking about right now.
But even before that, I promise you, that was the case. Matter of fact, do I have that video? Let me see if I got that. No, I took the video on my phone. I don't got it no more. But yeah, because
this is crazy because when you do shit like that, I always say, if there's a point you're trying to convey, and you're the first one in the conversation to say something, you literally had all the time. To craft your shit,
literal days,
so people understand what the fuck you're talking. Nobody. It's like the old meme. Nobody. Right. Absolutely nobody. All the nobodies in Nobodyville.
Bo Flex said he's almost every other post when I search.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Yeah. When you go on to this goddamn site and you say everybody loves, which means people gotta know him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you type in the captions, food critic and thief. Who the fuck you think we gonna think you talking about? And then again, people commented on her video talking about, is it Keith? Is it Keith? So he's not responsible for his platform because people came in. How? So it's not your responsibility to correct this narrative?
Yeah, that's a wild bar right there.
What are we?
That's a wild bar. That's a wild bar.
The crazy part is she let these comments about him going for days, not once clearing up that she wasn't talking about him. You can't tell me she was too busy to do it because she was responding and liking comments. Also, she immediately noticed the hate comments that she was getting, as she claimed she woke up to them. Then she had the nerve to gaslight him as if he had some responsibility as the creator that on the very same platform that for some reason she doesn't have.
Yo, this is what I be talking about, B. Like, trying to divorce themselves from accountability. These are your words. This is your post. You did this. You did this.
She was 1,000%. All right. On top of that, I forgot because I didn't even write this part down. What up, Paul?
Yo, Palm is ass, yo.
So another point is she was talking about how she was going in the first video. She was talking about she's being vague. In the second video, when she gave them more detail, she was like, "That's all the detail I'm gonna be able to give y'all because I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with it. I might pursue legal action." Here's the thing: you can't copyright an idea.
No, you can't.
You cannot copyright an idea. And if the issue of you not going into the detail on it was because you might pursue legal action, then you wouldn't have made the first fucking video in the first place.
That's what I'm saying.
Because the person who it is will know who you're talking about if they see the fucking video.
Exactly.
Like, what are we doing here?
Well, I'll tell you what we're doing.
I can tell you what's happening.
We're being jackasses, and this is again. They're listen, I hear them braying from over there. I hear them braying. Like, she doesn't want to be held. She doesn't want to be held accountable for the shit she does, posts, says, thinks, alludes to, vague books about. She doesn't want to be held accountable for that shit. So she found a way to divorce herself from her actions and say it's all his fault.
Yo, Mike's ass comes in like Alfred. Your slippers, man. Your newspaper, man. Your post you posted, man. McKenna, she did not reach out to him. And I don't know that, but I'm inferring that because of the video that Keith made.
Yeah.
The way that he was
the way he talked
video,
about it was
not reach out to him.
Yeah.
And you know what it comes down to, what really happened here. She was using him for clout.
Yeah, bro.
He had blown up recently.
Yes,
and here's the thing. He literally had, at that time, 500 times the amount of followers that she had. And the original video had over 1 million views above what she averages view-wise.
To quote
it was a clout thing.
To quote Rosenberg Ross, see what they do for me. And by the way, I would love for us to have left that in 2022. Bruh. This shit, y'all motherfuckers, you content creators be doing. You so desperate to have an audience that you're willing to shit all over your credibility
bruh,
by saying shit you don't believe, shit that isn't true and you know isn't true, but you saying it to elicit a response because somewhere along the line somebody told you that all publicity is good publicity. I got to tell you, like every other axiom, there are conditions.
There's a limit, yo. Yo, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I think with this one, it's just not true no more. Yo, it used to be true.
Right.
Sure. Absolutely. I don't think that worked no more. I just don't. And here's the thing. Is it possible for her to be completely innocent and just kind of dim? Sure. People would be stupid. So
people be stupid, B.
Of course it's possible. But here's the thing. Even if it was an innocent mistake, my issue is, even if it's a mistake, your audacity to gaslight the fuck out of him, like you don't have the platform. You don't have the platform he has.
But you do have
but you have the platform.
You know what it is? It's the audacity of nope. You know what I'm saying? The audacity of nope. You know what I'm saying?
Like what the fuck is going on?
And
serious?
Again, let me tell you, I do think that within small margins, the all publicity is good publicity thing is true to an extent.
Oh yeah, it can still work. Yeah.
You have to craft what you're doing to the point where it's so vague, it's so that it could go either way, and that way you would have supporters on both sides of it. You know what I'm saying? You got supporters on both. You got people that's against it and people that's for it, and that they fight out, and then those new people will join your shit, right? But how many people are bright enough to craft narratives that way?
You gotta have plausible deniability.
Yeah, it has
to.
Don't have any. Have plausible deniability. That's it.
You don't have any in this scenario. Like what?
Right.
McKinnon says I regularly unfollow creators that try to start shit or handle things.
Same.
You may get some new followers, but how long are they going to last compared to those you lost in the bullshit soup? Hey,
same.
Hey,
yo, as soon as I see it and I get a gist of what's going on, like man, I ain't come here for this.
Facts.
I ain't come here for this.
All facts. Only reason I ain't blocked her yet is because I want to see what the fuck she do.
You see how that unfolds?
Yeah, I want to see what she do. Because I know how it worked out on Keith and Keith made that video and then went back to regular life.
Right.
I want to see what she do next. But
sometimes I've seen it's been people on YouTube. This is years ago.
Her following count has been increasing.
Oh, it's going to be started in the short term.
When it started, I think she was at like 16.5K. Now she's at like 18 something. No, 19K.
So, like I said, bro, like it's going to happen in the short term. But again, it's like McKenna said, how long they going to?
Oh no, I don't think. Yeah,
how long they going to stay? And even if they stay subbed or followed, are they even paying attention to your shit?
That's what I was about to say. And then on top of that, this man has 10 million followers, and you managed to get 3,000.
Your fave could never.
It wasn't worth it.
That's telling you something too.
Hey.
Like you are an annoying gnat on an elephant ass. That's it. And he very rightly continued to go on with like he has a business. He's 10 million motherfuckers. Listen.
Wait, I just thought of something. On top of all that, this would have been better if you never talked to the nigga. If you had never talked to the nigga,
facts,
and you put this video out, and the people still think you're talking about Keith, you have the backup. Oh no, I actually never had the conversation with Keith.
Right.
But you talk to this nigga.
Right.
Why would you? What?
Right.
Maybe she's just stupid. I don't know.
I mean, I've seen stranger things.
Yeah.
I've seen far less common.
Okay, I'm about to say I've never actually watched Stranger Things.
Ass.
I watched first season. See, I've never. Anyway, moving on. Work week. Nothing. Nothing Monday, nothing Tuesday. Both of them were fine. Just moved on.
So you had to know something was coming.
Nigga. Wednesday. So we had this meeting.
All the facts, Paul. All the facts.
It's the super long 2-hour meeting that I effectively didn't need to attend.
You get paid about an hour though, so.
Hey, listen, as far as work is concerned, I wasn't complaining. As far as me being me is concerned, I was
of course
heated. I was heated. Miss Know-It-All would be absolutely amazing with just a few major tweaks.
So, hold on. So, the story you told us last week. Also, we knew that there was a possibility that somebody from The Office could have watched whatever. Has anything even remotely seemed like that was the case?
No, ain't nobody saying nothing. Well, here's the thing. I don't know if they were saying anything anyway.
Well,
to me.
It's true.
Because I'm me. Like, no, I'm just saying, like, it's not even, no, we're not doing that. It's not that. I'm just saying, like nobody involved would deign to.
You do realize had I said that?
No, I realized how I sound I realized how I sound after you reacted. But no, I don't mean it like that. I just mean that nobody involved in the story would deign to even bring that type of shit up in work.
Well, why is that?
Anyway, so with just a few major tweaks, Miss Know-It-All would be absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
like she's absolutely good at her job.
Mm-hmm.
She's a decently quick learner. The only thing that slows her down from learning is when she thinks she knows everything.
Yeah.
One of those major tweaks, though, she seems to have a fundamental lack of understanding of how certain things work. So she starts this meeting. Yes, I said she starts the meeting. We are similar in that our bosses empower us. The difference is I'm aware of it. But yeah, she starts off talking about.
She doesn't know she's a herald?
No, she thinks that she has the power.
She's Galactus.
Yeah. But she starts off talking about a bunch of shit that we do wrong as a company. Now, mind you, this meeting was between our company and another company that we're working with.
Oh no! What are you doing? Oh no!
Right. So she starts off talking about a bunch of shit that we do wrong as a company. Now, I don't know how many of you have dealt with meeting entities outside of the one that you represent in an attempt to try to make something work. I'm joking. Literally every functioning member of society does this all the time, if not every single day. Here's the thing, though. In such a situation, it doesn't behoove you to make yourself look incompetent.
No, it does
not. Nor
not.
does it behoove you to try and fix things that have nothing to do with the other entity while you're in counsel with
Facts.
It just doesn't.
Yo, napalm is the worst.
Yo. But that's exactly what she was doing for a good 5 minutes until one of the vice presidents was like, one of the vice presidents shut that shit down. I think what the vice president was doing was like trying to give her rope to see if she would ever correct the course.
Yes, she's self-correct, right?
Yeah, no, she never did. So the vice president was like, one of the vice presidents was like, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to stop talking about this right now. We're going to have a meeting internally so we can deal with these things. What we're going to do is focus on things that we need them for, because that's the fuck the meeting was supposed to be about. Right? So the rest of the meeting was largely about things that don't have anything to do with me.
Wow.
Like nothing to do with me. So there's that. Then later on that day, I talked about this before, but I don't know how many of you know what a UPS is. Shut up to him. Shut up to him. You know what's funny? You know what's funny? I wrote that in my notes.
Yo!
Hold up.
Hey, yo, you writing that in your notes is a crazy bar, yo.
I wrote that in my notes.
Yo! That's ass. I don't even know. Like, would that even, like, I can't even.
No, nigga. Yes, Jonathan. It is well, no, not universal. It is an uninterruptible power supply. Long explanation short, in the event of a power failure, they keep the power going. They have batteries.
Exactly.
Ones.
You saw what my niece said. Yeah. Oh.
So they have batteries. The particular ones that we use have like really, really heavy batteries. Like the standard battery that they use is 25 pounds per battery. My supervisor was not my supervisor. Decided that we should get rid of the dead ones we had, which absolutely we should, because they're just taking up space. Right. The issue is that you can't, or at least shouldn't, just throw them away. They have to be recycled. They are lead acid batteries.
They have to be recycled?
They're lead acid batteries.
I'm asking again. They have to be recycled?
What did I say?
You should have. I wish you'd have been there to convince a former boss of mine.
I said they can't or shouldn't be just thrown away.
This motherfucker was dumping shit
single-handedly contributed to global warming.
That's it, Big Mom. Recycle them into bullets.
Yeah,
bullets.
Nah. Bullets. So they had to be recycled. That meant finding all of them that were in the building and putting them somewhere together. Nigga. So I asked the one dude, because there are 3 maintenance men in the office. One I can't stand talking to. Another, I don't ever bother him because he's cool people, and I think he's had some type of medical difficulty recently, so I don't bother him like that.
Right.
And the last one is the dude that I used to work with. I talked about him before. I used to work with him when I was doing grounds work at one of the properties. The last one is who I always call. I always call him when I need any type of help, mainly because he abuses the fuck out of our relationship, so I return the fucking favor. So I get to him. He's at lunch. I try to guilt him into cutting his lunch short or taking a break. He doesn't bite, which I don't blame him. I ain't mad at him because that's your time. Take your time.
Nah, agreed.
As many benefits as I get from this company, it's still a company. Exactly. Take your goddamn time.
Take your time.
Yes, absolutely. So I wasn't trying to wait though. So I got Marcus to help, but not with all of it because it was a bunch of them. It was at least 10 of those 25-pound batteries that needed to be moved around and located. And then it was other batteries that were smaller, but each of those UPSs hold more batteries. So that was the whole thing. So while I was doing this, in the process of this, I get a call asking about odd behavior with CDs. The person that called me, she says somebody burnt some CDs for her, and when he gave them to her, they had the wrong photos on them.
They had what?
The wrong photos on them.
What kind of photos?
It was work, nigga. What you mean?
Oh, just a second.
No, nigga. The wrong. Why would anybody?
Hey.
Anyway.
Hey.
They had the wrong photos on them.
But you ain't worked some of the places I worked.
But he took them back to his PC and sent
what up, sis?
Video. What up? He took them back to his PC and sent her a video that they had the right photos. Instantly, I knew what was happening. So for context, the issue was that the dude who gave her the CDs didn't actually finish burning them. Simultaneously, she or somebody using her PC had done the same exact thing, but with different photos. So when he put the blank, it's not really blank, but for the purposes of the story, blank CD in his computer, he was seeing what was in that incomplete session. Then he took that same CD to her PC, and when she put it in, she was seeing her incomplete session, which were different photos. When they tried to put the CDs in other people's PCs, they saw nothing. Because the CDs didn't have anything on them. So I started to explain the process of burning CDs. She cuts me off. I know how to burn CDs. I was still calm at this. Hey. I was still calm at this point.
Yo,
one,
you are a paragon of
listen. No, don't give me that. Don't give me that yet. let me land before you make any judgments on my amount of restraint. I was calm at this point, one, because I was at work, but two, because I was literally standing next to my supervisor, who's not my supervisor. We were still in the process of doing the battery shit. But this particular person is like my doppelganger in personality. Almost. She is argumentative. She stands on what the fuck she says. The issue, we usually end up arguing about things that I'm the expert on.
Yeah.
And she doesn't know nearly as much as she thinks she does. And that's where we differ.
But the personality trait.
Right.
Then it turns around and becomes something that's annoying. Right.
Nigga. So
Lucille gives me strength.
Another way she differs is she will literally say to me, most people just let me win. Ma'am, number one, I'm not most people. Number two, we are at work. Letting you win could mean making my job harder.
Bro,
the
unmitigated gall,
nigga,
of thinking that this is a situation where you're going to get your way when you're dead ass incorrect.
Dead wrong.
First of all, for the record, and it has to be said, stop incorrecting me. Stop fucking incorrecting me.
Nigga, what?
Fuck out of here.
So, anyway, I started explaining again what the issue was to her.
Yo, McKenna said, if they're letting you
McKenna,
win, you didn't win.
Facts, and she doesn't understand that. She don't get that. So I started explaining to her what the issue is again. She cuts me off again, saying she knows how burning CDs works. I said, okay, since you know, tell me the process. She declined. She declined. And then she started to reiterate the issue. So I started to tell her what was happening without starting from the beginning of the whole process of how to burn a CD. I started just to tell her what the issue was. She responds, no, that's not it. I finally tell her, all right, I'll be out to you tomorrow. I'll look at it then. Because there was no point in me talking to her at this point. Wasn't going to. And my supervisor, who's not my supervisor, looked at me. She was like, I'm surprised you didn't cuss her out.
Me too. I'm over here in surprise land too. Me and your supervisor, who's not your supervisor, are in the same
you're simpatico.
Time. Like seriously, we are sitting right there. We're slightly out of phase, physically touch each other, but we are standing right in the same time and space right there.
Hey, listen.
The amount of grace that you gave her is uncharacteristic.
I'm good. No, I'm good with grace. Mercy is my issue. I'm good with grace. Usually, mercy is my problem. But anyway, so I get there the next day, and I have to explain it all over again. She initially continued to tell me that she knows how it works, while not getting how it works.
For he is kind. Yo, shit is dumb.
I broke it all the way down to her. She said I was wrong. I told her she wasn't listening. She asked me why she'd never seen this happen before. I told her it's because he never gave you an unfinished CD before.
Right.
She asked me to say the cause again. I instead reworded her issue back to her because in all this arguing, it is possible that either she didn't articulate the issue correctly or that I misunderstood the issue. It's possible. All right. So let me tell you what's going on. Let me repeat to you what's wrong to make sure we're on the same goddamn page.
Come, Leonidas. Let us reason together.
Facts. So after I say what the issue is, she's like, that's not what's happening. I said, okay, I'm going to stop talking. You tell me what's happening.
And why is it 2 days? Didn't you have that conversation the day before, and now you here and you still don't know exactly?
Hey, I told her, I'm going to stop talking. Go ahead and tell me what's happening. She proceeds to tell me the exact same thing I just said to her with slightly different wording, but the same exact events. This is when I stopped being nice. I told her she still wasn't listening. She insisted that she was. I said,
I would have cartwheeled all over her.
Definitely aren't listening because you just said the same exact thing back to me that I just said to you after telling me I was wrong. I then told her she could either listen to me or I could leave. For some reason, she calmed down.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, right? Had you had left, her problem would not have been solved. She can sit there all day long and say, "People usually let me win." You can do that all day long, but at the end of the day, they don't believe what they say,
bruh. So she calmed down a little bit. Then I started to explain the process with burning CDs again. She cut me off. Stop talking to me like I don't know how to burn CDs. Well, it's clear that you don't know how to burn CDs. Or you wouldn't be in this predicament.
Hold up, yo.
Said that.
Hold up, yo. We have royalty in the house.
Shit.
Sean Black. For those of you that are uninitiated, one of the reasons I'm here in this space, particularly in the rapidy rap, and didn't give up on that shit years ago, is because of Sean Black, my first producer. He taught me songwriting. He taught me so many things about music, period, that I can confidently say I would not be here right now doing all of this shit if it wasn't for Sean Black.
But
in my origin story, he's kind of like, I'm pretty sure y'all ain't see Remo Williams, but in any of those origin stories where there's the mentor right there trying to teach the young hero the ropes, how to use
he's like Jonathan Kent.
He's like Jonathan Kent. Sean Black. Yes, exactly, McKenna. Grandfather of the Legion. Sean Black. Absolutely.
So yeah, when I told her you don't know how to burn CDs or you wouldn't be in this predicament, she finally shut up.
You finally shut up?
She finally shut up. It's like I was trying my entire hardest not to attack. Not to. Because
hold up, I just wanted to know, what's your plan of attack?
I didn't have one. I was trying not to. But it turns out all I had to do was tell her the fucking truth. She didn't know what the fuck she was talking about.
Right.
So
yeah, exactly, Napalm. Sweep the leg. You should have swept the leg. Put on the body bag. Yeah.
So
shit.
And here's the funny thing about it. Her supervisor, well, not supervisor, they have a tiering system as far as the managers go. So the manager, a tier above her, was right next to her and did not jump in to help her at not Ned time.
Not Ned time.
Not Ned time.
Damn.
Oh, of course. I'm sure she went to talk to somebody else.
Oh,
without question.
Anderson, without question.
Here's the thing. I don't give a fuck. Because that doesn't exist in my like in this universe in my universe of perception, that doesn't exist. What happened is she got fucking schooled. I mean, listen. Come on, sis, you know.
Just listen. Saying. All I know is she got off really, really.
Oh,
she did because in normal circumstances,
bruh,
the amount of embarrassment that would have ensued would have been Danakian. like it would have been.
All right, so since you know so much, tell me what's going on.
Yeah, buddy. Give me play for play, play by play. Yeah, school me.
School me.
Stop acting like I don't know how to burn cities,
bruh. And then even when I was explaining to her what happened, like when she let me explain to her, she like, "Well, I didn't burn no CD." Okay, it didn't matter if it was you or if it was somebody else at your computer. That's funny, bro. At your computer, someone attempted to burn a CD. It don't matter if it was 5 years ago.
Exactly.
Someone attempted to burn a CD, and you have not been given a blank CD since.
Right.
Now you have a blank CD.
Yeah.
It's just that simple. But anyway.
That's funny.
All right. So jumping back into something that we touched upon.
Mm-hmm.
I have to weirdly play this because I can't play I can, but I'm not going to play the video. I'm just going to play the audio.
Right.
So how do I do this? Share screen. Turn the audio on. Share the wrong screen. There we go. All right. So when I synced this, I had first seen a tweet. Let me see if I can read the tweet. Let me see if I can read this tweet. The tweet has said, oh, wait, I probably won't be able to find it. God damn it. Let me see. Let me go to my John. Was it Jamil? No, it wasn't Jamil. Jamil said, she had said, because somebody had said, Bree knew some base.
Yes.
Okay, she said diversifying the police force doesn't end racism because racism is inherent to the organization of the institution and its daily operation. Racism is what policing is. The white owner class is not policed or surveilled because the function of police is to maintain the race class hierarchy and protect only the property of the wealthy, not the property of the poor, which they regularly damage.
It's always been that, by the way.
And Jamil piggybacked and said, I need so many people to understand this regarding Tyree Nichols. Several of the police officers who murdered Freddie Gray were black.
Yes,
the
they were.
The system of policing is based on white supremacist violence.
It literally started off as slave catchers.
We see people under the boot of oppression carry its water all the time.
Bro, a lot of this stuff, listen, if we just got here 4 months ago, I would understand people not knowing this. If it had been 4 years ago, I get it. 40 years, you pushing it with 40.
Sure.
400, B. These dynamics have been in place for a long
since been pimping.
And it's if I was on the other side of this and didn't know any of this, I wouldn't be pissed at the people that's informing me.
Yeah,
I'd be pissed by the system that purposely lied to me when retelling history about these institutions and this system. I'd be pissed at them because they played me and they tried to use me against fellow groups of citizens so that they wouldn't have my support because I believed in a bunch of lies and propaganda that was created by the system for them to stay in power and continue to do things the way they wanted to. I would be fucking pissed. But instead, these motherfuckers get pissed at the people informing you that you're being played.
Yeah.
They're playing you.
So I can't find the original tweet, but it was basically something to the effect of Jason Whitlock is on here, such and 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 such. And I'm like, oh, I need to hear this because I haven't heard any of his outright. I just know because I know. Like I was saying to you about Acho. Like I hadn't known. I just knew because I knew. I ain't had no proof. I just knew. With Whitlock, I heard some things that hit my ear wrong, but I ain't never heard him go full out until now.
Right. Yo, so, he's an ass. And to me, he's evidence of what's being said. So is Clandis. They're evidence of everything that's being said.
Brown. So let me play this.
Everyone's behaving inappropriately, including these 5 Memphis police officers. It's an open and shut case. The camera from above captures the police doing something totally illegal. The second-degree murder charges are warranted. This is going to be a revisitation of the Walter Scott, the guy that got shot on camera by a cop in the back. He got convicted, went to prison. It's an open and shut case. This is too. I don't get what people are protesting about. These are 5 black officers. The victim is black. The police chief is black. The police have been fired and charged, and they will be convicted, I would assume, by a predominantly black jury in a city that's 65% black. So the system is going to work here. What the other system that's working is the corporate media's insistence on promoting racial division at the behest, in my view, of the military-industrial complex. They want us all looking at this and not looking at what they're doing in Ukraine as they drag America and the world into World War III. This is a distraction, in my opinion. CNN hyped this video like they were hyping the Super Bowl. And there's really only 60 seconds of relevant content. You show the police misconduct from overhead as they brutalize this man and make it clear this is an open and shut case and the guys are going to be convicted, and we move on. They treated this like a Super Bowl, enraging people, promoting the violence, and this is the most important story in the history of the planet. It's not. What's going on in Ukraine and our military involvement in Ukraine, that's the most important story going on in the world, but they don't want you focused on that.
That is such a good point. And you've been in the news business all your life, 35 years or something. I felt guilty putting that video on the screen, not because I was on anyone's side. I felt obviously bad about it. It was horrible. But because you don't want to put ugly things on TV and inflame passions. You want people to be reasonable and think things through and reach wise decisions. Why would news organizations, they really want to make people enraged. Clearly.
They don't want us focused on reality. Hey, if they want us to devote an hour of coverage to this and weekend coverage of this, and they want to take us to a good place, I would examine the racial element of this, because there is a racial element. And this is a story about young black men and their inability to treat each other in a humane way. Everybody involved in this on the street level was either 24 to 32 years old. Everybody. It was a group of young black men, 5-on-1. Looked like gang violence to me. It looked like what young black men do when they're supervised by a single black woman. And that's what they got going on in the Memphis Police Department. They've elected or put some black woman in charge of the police force. And we're getting the same kind of chaos and disunity and violence that we see in these cities that are run by single mothers. If we want to discuss the breakdown of family that leads to disrespect for authority, that causes you to resist the police and run from the police and not comply with the police because you resist authority at all time, because there was no male authority in your home, let's have that discussion. But that's not where they want to take us. They want to take us down the path of saying, you know what, this is Tucker Carlson's fault. This is some random this is Donald Trump's fault. It's not. It's the breakdown of family and the buying in to all these left-wing things that have nothing to do with promoting family.
All right. So SBJ played that, not the platform, this fuck nigga.
No.
So you could hear the fuck shit. So let's talk about this for a second. The very idea that he's going to attempt to blame one demographic for situations that have been happening for the longest time under the exact same system needs to be addressed immediately first, before we get into that misogynistic bullshit he just said. You need to understand, as the quote here in this tweet says, for people saying, but the police who killed Tyree Nichols are black, how is that racist crowd? Anti-blackness is a cultural phenomenon shared across racial and ethnic backgrounds. John Singleton told y'all that 32 years ago. Now, for those of you who don't understand what this pic is from, it's from the movie Boys in the Hood. Where this is not something that's new. This is literally something that we have been dealing with since pimping. This is less about the color of the police. And I've been saying this for the longest time. It's not about the color of the police. that whole institution needs to be sanitized, all of it, because the system is already in place. And when people go into that system, regardless of what their intentions are when they first get in there, the vast majority of them, even if they thought, I'm going to change it from within, the system is the system, and it winds up changing them. You can't sit here with a straight face after all these other murders we've seen by police officers of various different colors and races, and then make this about how black people treat black people. When we've done this on this show before, we've shown you the FBI crime stats, particularly when it comes to homicide. Done that on this show before. Every group kills more of the people in their group than people outside of their group do.
Yep.
Because murder is a crime of proximity. Also, those numbers speak towards those people charged. It says nothing about the people who got off.
Correct.
Also, the percentage that they want you to focus on is the 90% of all black people that are killed by other black people. The number they don't want you to focus on is the percentage of black people that actually kill each other.
Right.
It's small in comparison to the overall population in this country of 47 million black people. It's not even a full percent,
Right.
not even a full 1%. But if they get you to focus on the 90, they can get the perception and the narrative. These are a bunch of murdering chimps. It's all part of that narrative. Let's go to him talking this shit about black women. I know we're not doing that. A lot of the males that helped raise me were uber violent. A lot of those males had both parents. A lot of my conflict resolution that I was taught as a young lad was, he said, what? Man, if you don't go punch him in his fucking face, you better not come home unless you done punched him in his face. I didn't learn that from my aunts. I didn't learn that from my grandmother. And I didn't learn that from my moms. I learned that from the males. That's the conflict resolution I learned to this day. To this day, to be clear, I'm much better, much more composed about that sort of thing. But it's still there to this day. Even if I don't react because of it, because I'm not moved by those instincts as much, the first thought that pops in my head, when you say some dickhead shit to me, I should punch you in your motherfucking face. Because this is the conditioning from all the males, the older males that was in my life taught me. The idea that he's going to put that on women, these guys wouldn't have responded or reacted like that. Get the fuck out my face. For the record, men don't have some magic button about raising kids.
No,
they don't.
Well, hold on. I say this almost jokingly, but there is something to be said for babies. I can say with babies, men do have a magic button.
Yes.
With
yes.
older children, no.
Yes. But that's also fear induced.
Yes.
That bassy voice.
Thanks.
You know what I'm saying? That bassy ass voice.
Thanks.
You know what I'm saying?
You call that baby gonna jump.
Huh? What the fuck?
Right.
What? What'd he say? What'd he say?
Thanks.
But again, guys like Jason Whitlock, guys like Candace Owens, Kanye West, they're literally the walking examples of what we're talking about. You can absolutely be black, have black skin, brown skin, and harbor anti-black sentiments. To be clear, this is what happens. This is what happens when you see yourself through the eyes of those that despise you. Sooner or later, you're going to act on it.
Oh, yeah. You're
going to act on it.
It's just simple.
Now, something else these motherfuckers was talking about this shit too. Because when shit like this happens, it's always about trying to discredit the person that got killed, the family's reaction, or the reaction of the community. This is true gaslighting.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I saw one of these dickheads on Twitter, I think it was Matt Walsh, talk about, he wasn't a young boy. Why did he call him a young boy? He was 29 years old. Dickhead. When the lawyer said that, the lawyer was referencing how the mother was feeling and how all mothers, parents, period, think about their kids. I don't care how old they get. I still refer to my daughter, who will be 26 this year, as my little girl.
Facts. It's kind of just how that works.
It's how that works. But when you're a bad actor and your whole goal is not to have some understanding about the situation and come to it from a fair standpoint, it's only to obfuscate and pettifog. All of this to defend a system that, let's be clear, has never fucked with your black ass. Never. You might ask, well, why would they do that? Because it's always been that. It's literally always been that. There's a system of oppression. I don't care what society you're talking about, what country you're talking about. They're bearing down on one demographic, maybe two. Members of the demographic that this system is bearing down on, there will always be those of them that hyper-identify with the system and could give a fuck about everybody else. That's always been the case. If you do not believe this, please explain why it was very easy for the settlers to get Native Americans to help them hunt down other Native Americans. Yes, these were from different tribes, but that's not always what it was. Whatever tribe of Native American you were from, you clearly had a mutual enemy.
Mm-hmm.
And they only started realizing that towards the end. And by then it was too late. So no, it's not surprising to me that a motherfucker like Jason Whitlock says the shit he says, or Clandis says the shit she says. In fact, they're evidence of what we've been saying. Anti-blackness does not have a color. If you see yourself through the eyes of people that despise you, the eyes of people who literally have created bad PR on you, gave you bad paperwork for centuries, not 4 months, not 4 years, not 40 years. We're talking centuries of perceptions. You think that's only going to affect people who aren't black? Fuck out of here. And I didn't watch that video. And neither did SBJ.
Nah.
SBJ, why didn't you watch that video?
I'm going to reiterate what I told y'all in the group chat. I'm on a successful streak of not seeing these videos. I think the last one I watched was the Breonna Taylor one. I will watch it only if I stumble across it and it's already playing, and even then I'm not watching the whole thing. I am not seeking it out. I will not seek it out. That video, the reason I played the audio of that last piece instead of the video is because side by side in that video is the video. Yeah. So I'm not. But I've had enough. I don't need to see. Like there are certain. Let's bring it down to a micro level first. I've already expressed to y'all several times on the show. I hate echo chambers. I don't need. This is a stat that I don't need any more points in.
Yeah. How about that? How about that?
I am already at the level that I will ever be at about these type of things. I don't need to see more videos of Black people being killed by law enforcement to understand that Black people get killed by law enforcement at a rate that's not commensurate with the fucking population.
Right.
I don't need to see these videos to know that law enforcement
already convinced
at its core is the same system that was made to go and find runaway slaves and bring them back to their masters. Right. And at no point was the system abolished. It just adapted to fit in to what was the society as it changed. But all of those things are still at the root of what it was. I don't need videos to see these things. I don't need the video to know that this mother just lost her child. I don't give a fuck how old he was.
Exactly.
I don't need the video to know that these things are wrong and that these things happen. Or like I saw one comment, I can't even find it now, but I saw one comment like, it's funny how this video only starts from where he's running from the police. We don't know what happened before that and blah, blah. It don't fucking matter what happened before that. There is no scenario. There's no scenario.
They always
matter of fact, he was tased and beat to death. In the worst case scenario, let's say he had a gun.
Right.
It was originally 6 of them cops. He gunned one of them down, dropped the gun, dipped off. Even in that scenario, I would have understood shooting him versus tasing him and beating him to death.
Torture.
Right.
It's torture.
And since we know that's not what the fuck happened, because that's not what they reported.
Nope.
Because that would be something that would help them.
And exactly, the police would not have fired them man instantly if they did anything right.
Bro.
Right. They did
so since we know that's not what happened,
right.
There is no scenario that you could give me that justifies them chasing down, tasing, and beating to death a human being.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Right.
There's nothing. There's no crime to which that is the punishment for.
And it's not your job.
And they're not supposed to be judge, jury.
Nope.
Right.
Okay. An executioner. So no. And look, listen. As I said earlier in the show, when we start talking politics, surprise, surprise, politics covers this too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you're one of those ones that are constantly, regardless of what happened, regardless of the facts, regardless of anything that is shown or evidence that is displayed, you're still siding with a system and saying that overall the system is great.
Yeah.
People are not going to like you. They're just not. They're just not. And if that bothers you, if that makes you feel a certain kind of way because you don't like people looking at you crazy because you're always defending the indefensible and then going into a booth and voting for people that's willing to legislate the indefensible, you do have a choice.
Yeah.
You just shut the fuck up.
It's always an option. Just
sit in your house with your big blue pom-poms and talk about blue lives, do that. No one has said you don't have to worry about people pushing back. But if you're going to enter the public square, what they keep referring to as the free market of ideas, which I can make an argument that it's not, and that it's never been.
Right.
You can't tell me about a free market of ideas when you literally had a demographic that you made illegal to learn how to read.
Yeah.
the fuck out of here.
At some point, illegal to know how to read, illegal to vote, illegal to own property, illegal.
Right.
Yeah. So
that stop it. Stop acting like that's always been a principle here. It has not. And also, there are other ways to do that too, to restrict people's ability to express themselves. There's other ways to do that do not require law. Literally, for you monopolizing having all the resources to control the airwaves, to control the printed literature. If you have control over all those things, and you can make a decision on what is produced and what's not, what gets aired and what doesn't, you're not going to sit here with a straight face and tell me that is also not another way of curbing and curating the narrative in your favor, so that you can have these handkerchief head ass niggas get on these fucking social media platforms and in these interviews and say all this shit extolling the virtues of a system that never fucked with you in the first place.
Well, here's the thing that a lot of people misunderstand. Evacuation is not recompense. So
you say that again?
Evacuation is not recompense. If you're at war and you're occupying a place and you evacuate, that place has not been made whole. That's not how that works.
That's not how that works.
Now, just like with every war, there are losers on both sides. But the question is, what are you losing?
Right.
The other side lost trust. Like, what? we don't trust them. Okay. Sure, literally bodies. Okay, obviously, because that's a cost of war. That's know that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But outside of that, they lost trust. They lost the benefit of the doubt.
They lost the
things that effectively don't actually do anything to you, especially when you're in power.
Yeah. You don't care.
You don't
care. If you're in power, you don't care that the people that's not in power don't trust you.
No.
You don't give a fuck.
Especially if they can't get on the same page.
They can't get on the same page. You have effectively put them into positions over the years where some of this shit is embedded and ingrained like a fucking operating system.
Right.
When it comes to this shit. And this is the other thing about that too. Malcolm X once used an example. If I take a 12-inch knife and stab you with it, you're going to be hurt. If I pull it out 6 inches, you're still going to be hurt. If I pull it out all the way, you're still going to be hurt. That wound has to be addressed.
But again, evacuation is not recompense.
Right.
If I pull the knife all the way out, you're in a worse place than you were.
Exactly. Because at least with the knife there, it was a structure holding the blood in and keeping the air from.
Right.
But for some reason in this country, I'm not even going to say for some reason. I know why it is. It's what I said earlier about not wanting to accept accountability for shit. They don't want to accept accountability. They want to believe that the present is independent of the past. And it is not. It has never been, nor will it ever be.
No.
I am here now because of things that took place in 1969.
Thanks.
No, 1968.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I am here because of that.
Yeah.
And all the shit that I affect because of my presence is directly linked to some event that happened in 1968.
Yeah.
Right? The fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Fuck out of here.
All right, I got Mr. Anderson. What do you mean by I'm confused?
Mr. Anderson.
He says, "Do you guys think we are in the
I think I know what he means.
I'm not sure. I kind of have an idea, but I want to be clear
before the worst of times.
I think Charles Dickens had it right. Because that is actually how I feel about about this time period.
Yeah. I think, I'm kind of in the same boat with you right there. It's the best of times and the worst of times. Like you have clear examples, right, of stuff that is better now.
Yeah.
Clear examples.
Unassailable evidence.
Unassailable evidence.
that certain things are better.
It's just better now. Yeah. And then you have other things that just really hasn't changed. It's just the look of it changed. Yeah. The way it's talked about has just changed. And in many ways, I see things going backwards.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And also, there is a general malaise amongst the populace. And a lot of that comes from all empires go through this.
What up, Discord?
What up, Discord? All empires go through this. Every single one. The question is, are the population, the people that live in this empire, going to see it and act on things to preserve the empire?
Right. Or
are they going to act on things to preserve the people?
Right.
Because they are not necessarily the same things.
All facts. McKenna touched on something that we talked about last week. The average age of the Senate is 65 years old. Most people in power here were either born in or raised by those who blocked kids from schools and torched buses. No surprise when they uphold institutions who defend white supremacy. We talked about this old money.
We talked about this last week.
Old money and old power.
We talked about this last week.
Yeah. And what the fuck you think we mean when we say old? Because we ain't that old. America ain't that old.
And look, what I tell you last week, in a few years, I'm going to be around that age in a few years. And I'm telling you young motherfuckers again, stop letting these old crusty bastards bring their toxic generational baggage to you. Stop it. If you want this, if you want this to preserve, if you want to keep this a thing, you better stop it now, because it's not going to last. Why? Because times change. Whatever way worked for them back then. And this actually reminds me of a conversation me and Graydon had about businesses. There are businesses that are humongous and they have a certain business model. And this business model is what gets them paid. And they got that way because maybe at some point in time when they were a small business, these were innovative steps. And now they got a consumer base that's constantly funneling money to them for their product or their service. So that means when it comes time for new innovations, they are slow to change because they're making already this profit, and they fear if we switch this business model up now, it could cost us money. That's kind of how this place is.
Yup.
Those other smaller countries that are a little younger than the United States, you notice that a lot of them are willing to try newer things. Oh, let's try this, see if this works. Over here, they have become so successful with what they thought they was doing back then that they don't want to change a lot of that shit now for fear that they'll lose power on the world stage.
Yep.
Because all that shit really starts internally. Unfortunately for you, though, what happens in business when the big old company can't switch on a dime to the new technology, to the new things that's happening? Eventually, those smaller companies get bigger and replace you because they can do what you do way more efficiently.
Yeah.
So their turnaround is a lot shorter. Ignore this at your peril, young folks. Keep letting these dusty motherfuckers get up in there. And by the way, look at the financial portfolio of them motherfuckers up there that's been up there that long. Look how much money these motherfuckers have accumulated.
Bruh.
And they ain't produced nothing but hot air. Think about that shit. They ain't built a widget. They ain't turned a screwdriver. They ain't delivered a pizza. They just did this. Millions. Worth millions now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Come on now.
Then they're going to be up out of here. They're going to be up out of here. And they got generational wealth after screwing you over. After climbing the ladder, getting to the top of it, taking advantage of shit they shouldn't have took advantage of. And by the way, this is not dependent on party. They both these motherfuckers do that shit. Yeah. Both these motherfuckers do that shit, right? Then they gonna pass on, and that money gonna go down to their people, and you gonna be fucked. And that general discord or lack of there's a you could tell now the way it is now with the way people discuss certain topics. It's testy. It's very they started that. They're doing that now. You watch them do that now on the floor of Congress and all that shit. They do that. And they keep that energy. And they're gonna be up out of here. And you got to deal with the environment, the landscape that they created. You got to deal with it. It's enough letting them motherfuckers tell you what's what. Maybe what they did worked good for the country back then.
Sure. Whoa, that's the thing. 95%. It absolutely did work best. It was in the country's best interest at a time.
It ain't now.
It ain't now.
It ain't now. They're holding you back. That shit's embarrassing. That's the other thing, too. For those of you that are tightly moored to this place.
We're the best.
From the United States. For those of you that that whole sentiment, we're the best. For those of you that feel like
one word for you motherfuckers. Infrastructure.
Listen, if this is it for you, if this is how you identify, if this is the overarching identity that you place yourself as American, as in a particular type of American, because if you live in South America, you're still American. All right. Correct. Talking about in the United States citizen, if everything about this place, from its branding, from all of the things that you have been conditioned to accept as nobility, the things that you've been conditioned to see as these are good things, this makes me feel good. If all that's important to you, get these motherfuckers out of there. Get them out of there. Because it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
That shit's embarrassing.
Embarrassing ain't even we need a better word than embarrassing.
Oh yeah, it's got to be though, right? I mean, surely there's some other synonyms we can use and shit.
Man,
exactly, Joe. Exactly. But that's another conversation they don't want to have. And they'll use this as evidence of a system that works. And we know that there's so much shit entwined with who gets held accountable and how quick. It's not just this. Oh no, this is what's supposed to happen. But is this what happens? Is this what happens? And this also goes to SPJ's point from the other week about idealism versus what's actually happening.
Mm-hmm. It's
Discourse said, I've been lamenting our progress grinding to a halt since high school. It's embarrassing. Mortifying is a great synonym for embarrassing, only stronger.
What up, Joe?
Mortifying.
Oh God.
Yeah, I've been talking about it too, Discord and songs and all that about infrastructure. Like, these are your bridges, B. These are your streets. If you listen, if you're a politician working out of DC, and you have to go in there every day to your office down there, and every day go out there on the floor of the Senate or the floor of the House.
Mm-hmm.
You ride down the street and you see fucked up bridges, fucked up streets.
What up, Vermin?
Sure, what's up, Vermin? Trash all over the place, right? If you see that,
Vermin, we're about to talk about that. Go ahead.
Right.
I just pulled up some lists.
You know what I'm saying? But if you riding down the street as a politician and you see the infrastructure
cruising down the street in my 6'4". Oh, my bad.
Fucked up. Looking fucked. How do you do that without feeling the way?
All right. Hold on. I want to be factual because we're talking about things and we're going off of our experiences, right?
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
So I want to make sure that we present a little bit more of an objective take. So I have some lists pulled up.
Okay.
We're gonna go through these lists. Let me see. Allow some of these sites don't like ad blockers. It's cool. We're gonna make it think that we turned it off, and we're gonna refresh the page. We ain't really turned it off. All right. This is from 2021. Top 10 countries with the fastest mobile internet speeds. Mobile. This is mobile, so cellular. United Arab Emirates, South Korea, Norway, Qatar, China, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Cyprus, Bulgaria, Switzerland.
Love you too, Joe.
You know what country's not on there?
What's not on there?
United States. All right,
we actually talked about that on that episode before too.
Yeah, we talked about it. All right. Top 10 countries with the fastest broadband internet.
Oh, we got to be on that.
Monaco, Singapore, Hong Kong, Romania, Switzerland, Denmark, Thailand, Chile, France, South Korea.
I didn't hear United States on there.
What up, cuz?
What up, DJ?
I don't know. All right, let me keep going. Countries with the most well-developed infrastructure. Now, I don't know what the criteria for this is. I just know what this list says. And this is, what year is this? This is this year. So, again, I don't know what the criteria is, but we actually charted on this one. Number 1 is Germany.
Of course.
Hold up, what is this?
What year is it?
It's a news site. It looks like it's this year.
Okay.
Number 1 is Germany. Number 2 is Japan. And we're number 3.
We're number 3.
All right, okay. I got another list. Countries with the most well-developed public education systems. Okay. Number 1, Sweden. Number 2, Denmark. Number 3, Germany. Number 4, Canada. 5, Norway. 6, Finland. 7, United Kingdom. 8, Netherlands. 9, Switzerland. 10, Japan. Yeah, again, we're not on that list. We're not on that list. Let me see. Incarceration rates. Top 10 countries with the most people in prison. We're number 1. Top 10 countries with the highest rate of incarceration. We're number 1. Okay. Let me see. List of the world's worst and best prison systems. Now, this isn't an actual list, but spoiler, we're the worst. Norway is the best. This one is 2021.
Right.
Norway's at the top. We're at the bottom.
Right.
Mass shootings by country. We're number 1. By a wide margin. 100 so this is for this year. Yeah, this is for this year.
I actually have another list over here too that's very, very interesting.
This is my last one.
Okay.
United States of America, 101. It is not February.
God damn.
It is not February. 101. Russia is second with 21. Mind you, they are in the middle of a war.
Yeah.
Number 3, France with 8. Germany with 5, Canada with 4, Finland with 3, Belgium with 2, Czech Republic with 2, Italy with 2, Netherlands with 2. So the vast majority of this list, our number of mass shootings for 1 month is at least 33 times.
Wow.
Okay. Wow. All right. Yeah, that's
so. I have a list here of top 30 countries with the most freedom of speech / expression. Denmark, Belgium, Finland, Switzerland, Uruguay, New Zealand, Portugal, Sweden, France, Canada, Estonia, Argentina, Austria, Ireland, Norway.
Wait. You passed 10, and I still haven't heard.
Right. Italy, Australia, Germany, Jamaica, United Kingdom.
Sir, I still haven't heard.
We get into it.
Okay.
Czechia, Iceland, Latvia, Netherlands, Slovakia.
Latvia and Slovakia are above.
Right. That's right.
Okay.
Costa Rica, Barbados, Luxembourg, Peru, United States.
Yo. All right, I got a question.
But to be fair,
I got a question.
Top 10 countries whose citizens value free speech the most.
Of course, we might be number 1 on that list.
Number 2.
Okay. Now here's the thing for that first list.
Oh, I'm sorry, number 3. My fault.
Okay. I wonder what the criteria for that first list is.
Oh, that's a good question.
It's not state-based. Actually, no, it might be state-based.
Well, it says here.
And when I say state, people, I'm not talking about Maryland. I mean the worldwide view of what a state is, not what the United States views as a state. Because
it comes from the Global State of Democracy Indices, is a database maintained by the International Institute for Democracy and Electoral Assistance, which tracks 116 indicators related to democratic freedom.
So I was right. Okay. So it's not state-based necessarily. It's a population thing. It's what we allow to happen and don't allow to happen. Right. Okay. Yeah. Anti-gay,
the GSDI. Yeah.
Anti-woman, anti-trans.
But you know what, though? Yeah. What I would say to that too is, like everything else, it largely depends on what rung of the ladder you were on, and what you were either protected from or not protected from. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I just got distracted. This is from. Do you have any idea who John Miltimore is?
Mm-hmm.
You do?
You say who?
John Miltimore.
Milton Moore?
Miltimore.
No, I have never heard that last name. John Milton.
Jonathan Miltimore is a managing editor of FEE.org. His writing reporting has been the subject of articles in Time, Wall Street Journal, CNN, Forbes, Fox News, and the Star Tribune. Byline to Newsweek, The Washington Times, MSN.com, The Washington Examiner, Daily Caller, Federalist, Epoch Times. He previously served in editorial roles at the History Channel magazine, Intellectual Takeout, and Scout. He is an alumni of the Institute of Humane Studies journalism program, a former reporter for the Panama City News Herald, and served as an intern in the speechwriting department for George W. This came out in 2019. So I'm reading this with y'all. I ain't seen it yet, but the title took me aback.
Right.
The myth that the United States leads the world in mass shootings. The U.S. trails many other advanced nations in mass shooting frequency and death rate. If you asked me this morning which nation has the most mass shootings in the world, I would have said, with perhaps a flicker of hesitation, the United States. This is a tad embarrassing to admit because I'm pretty familiar with shooting statistics, having written several articles on gun violence and the Second Amendment. Below is a basic overview of gun violence in America. While gun homicides have been steadily declining for decades in the U.S., mass shootings have indeed been trending upward. This fact alone probably would not have led me to believe that the U.S. leads the world in mass shootings. However,
you said this from 2019, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's changed. It changed around the pandemic. Right?
And assist goes to the U.S. media and politicians. The dominant narrative, let's be clear, President Obama said in 2015, after a shooting in North Carolina, at some point, we as a country will have to reckon with the fact that this type of mass violence does not happen in other advanced countries. Senator Harry Reid echoed this sentiment. The United States is the only advanced country where this kind of mass violence occurs. Media headlines have left little doubt that the U.S. leads the world in mass shootings. In fact, according to CNN, it isn't even close. The comments and data.
What's the name of this site?
This is FEE.org.
Okay.
The comments and data seem to conclusively say that the U.S. leads the world in mass shootings, and the violence is unique, a product of America's gun culture. It's a slam dunk case, except for one thing: it's not true. The root of the myth: statistics on global mass shooting incidents from 2009 to 2015, compiled by economist John Lott of the Crime Prevention Research Center, show that the U.S. trails many other advanced nations in mass shooting frequency and death rate. Okay, hold on. I think I see what's happening. I'm not going to say it yet. Comparing annual death rate from mass public shootings, comparing European countries to U.S. and Canada from January 2009 to December 2015. So there's rank, country, death rate per million people from mass public shootings. That's what the fuck is going on. Okay, all right. So according to that, we're number 11. So you're saying, I get it. Okay, I have my answer now. It's not even important anymore. All right, cool. Thank you, John, for helping me understand that you're one of two things. Either he's literally just being one of those fucking objective over subjective at all costs people, or you're trying to spin a narrative. Because
typically what I do for shit like that, I go and look up the person that's writing.
That's why I asked you if you knew him. But I know what happened now. I get it. You are trying to spin this as a per capita thing.
Yep.
We're not talking about per capita.
Nope.
We have 300 million people plus in this country. So, of course, a country with 50 million people, if they have 1/6 of the amount of mass shootings in that year, they're going to be equal to us.
Remember when we said earlier about how they get you to focus on the big number without going into the details? It's the same thing. 90%. All right, 90% of what? Of all black people are killed by black people. Okay, so how many? How many of that? Oh, so you're saying 47 million of them is 0.025.
Yeah.
Okay.
We are not talking about per capita. Per capita does not take into account what the gun culture is in this country.
Also,
per capita would account for what the individuals may think, not what the gun culture promotes necessarily.
Also, they quibble over what's considered a mass shooting. And I always thought that this was like one of the dumbest quibbles. Because if I shoot 2 or 3 people, that's a mass shooting. What are you talking about? It's like if they feel like if it ain't 10 or more, it's not, I guess that's what they're thinking. But if I shoot 3 people, that's
Discord. Discord. This is what it is. We are talking. Again, this could be just an analytics thing. He could, because I don't know who he is, so I have no way.
I don't know what his right.
He could be literally just doing a by the numbers thing, and by the numbers, technically, he's right because he's talking about per capita. We're not talking about per capita. We're talking about per country. In no way does the amount of people in the country have anything to do with the problem that we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
No, Joe, I told you what it was. It's literally a per capita thing. That's all. There's no more information that he gives. It's literally rank, country, rate of mass shootings by population. So
I agree with that too. Leaving out the people shot.
Oh no, that's absolutely
but
dishonest.
not dead is massively dishonest.
Yeah,
massively.
If you noticed, I disregarded that. Completely.
Yeah,
like
but see,
that.
sometimes right, you can tell a disingenuous motive just by what they choose to focus on. You know,
I promise you, if you look up the word shooting, the word dead is nowhere in the definition.
Right.
So
excuse me, folks. I have friends that have been shot,
bruh,
and they're still alive.
Yeah,
they're still alive. Right?
It's a thing that happens.
It happens. It happens here.
Shot and live. Yeah,
it happens
shot
here.
and live. But yeah, yes, just Discord. That's the point that he's making. Since we're so huge, our percentage is smaller.
Right.
So yeah, no, we're not talking about per capita. Per capita doesn't take into account the country. It takes into account the population of the country, which is not the issue that we have.
Right.
It doesn't matter how many fucking people we have in the country if every day, it's been 100 mass shootings. So if 3 times a day people decide to kill 3 people, shoot 3 people, that's a fucking problem. I don't care how many people live there.
It's a problem. It's a problem. But again, it's a problem. Let me ask you this. Honestly. And I'm going to throw this out also to the people in the chat. All of these issues that we talk about, you see the resistance to confronting them every day. Take into account these issues along with the level of resistance to even entertain solutions or even entertain the conversation. What are your prospects for any of these things being solved?
Wait, yo, I just thought about I just put something together that I was trying to articulate. The difference between what he is saying and what I am saying is that he is saying Americans don't have an issue. I am saying America has
the issue. Right. That's it. That's the difference. I hate it here. Joe makes this point. Russia population is 143 million, slightly less than half the US, but only 21 mass shootings so far. We're about 2 times more populous with 5 times more shootings.
Oh, Joe, and again, they're actively in a war right now.
And they're actively in a war.
But the article that I read was from 2019.
They're talking about domestic shootings, right?
I don't know if they specified.
Because I would imagine
because the one I read earlier said 21, but I didn't see anything about wartime or peacetime or whatever. And again, it can't possibly be peacetime because literally they've been in this war since last year. So so it could be just war. But then again, if a civilian, I don't know. I don't even know. I'm not even going to begin to speculate on that. Right. But yeah, it's just. Absolutely, Joe. I mean, there are a bunch of reasons why a bunch of people shoot a bunch of people. Right. That's always going to be the case. But for the point that is trying to be made by those that are arguing in good faith, it is simply this country. And to respond to Discord, it might make more sense to compare states to other countries. Why that doesn't make sense is because we are under one governing body. State means something different elsewhere.
See, but you know what, though? But I will say this. What you have hit on right there is one of the key elements for why some of this shit I don't believe will ever be solved.
Right.
The original intent that people think about when you think about these states is the idea that these are sovereign states. But the reality is, what's the reality? The reality is there are no force fields preventing me from going into this next state.
Right.
And that shooting that took place, I think in California, was by guns that was purchased in another state.
Right.
So the thing is,
same thing with Rittenhouse.
Same thing with Rittenhouse. Went from one state to another state. There's no stopping that. There's nothing that's a barrier to prevent that from happening.
Facts.
So the idea that we can look at states exclusively, I don't think that's a good measure when that study will always be tainted because people from other states can come in there and do what the fuck they do and bring what the fuck they want in them states to fuck up the numbers.
Facts. All facts. Like a less sinister example. In the past year or two, maybe since the pandemic started, I've noticed an uptick of Virginia license plates here.
Yes.
And that's because there's some type of loophole that they're using with insurance. So while that might work in Virginia, they are in Maryland. And if something happens and they messed something up with their paperwork, they would get in trouble in Maryland for something that they're trying to take advantage of from Virginia. So again, like you said, there's nothing stopping, like outside of national emergencies and wartime and all that other shit, there's nothing stopping you from going to state.
Right. So, you can literally it's free movement between states. You can go there just to visit. You can fucking move there. There's literally nothing that's buried, and I think that's going to always taint those numbers because the fact is that there's no such thing as a sovereign state here anymore.
No,
it's not. It's all under the federal government.
Sovereign states are effectively countries.
Right. Right. Like there's certain things. There's always going to be limits.
Yeah.
And one thing the United States, our federal government is never going to allow again is a situation where motherfuckers think they can do what the southern states tried to do back during the Civil War. They're never going to allow
for good reason. For good reason. Yes,
absolutely.
For good reason. Yeah.
Absolutely. You don't want bro. And the thing that's crazy about the idea of even allowing that to go that far, because there's a lot of extremists on that side of the political aisle about that too.
Yeah.
You do recognize that the United States as a country and entity has enemies abroad. Now, I don't have to tell you guys what a house divided, what happens to a house divided.
It's literally why spies go to other countries to sow division so that
Just imagine if it was the true nature of these states to be actual sovereign states.
Right.
And then one state's beefing with another state and they break out beefing in a straight up firing thing going on. It's never going to be that here again. It's never going to be that here again. Unless something very unexpected happens where like we are in a fucking dystopian nightmare, right? Where federal government is broken down and now it's flee for your lives.
Right.
Because are literally in these states going, look, this is our territory here. We'll fuck with y'all over there. You don't fuck with us over here. Like, unless something crazy like that happens, it's never going to be like that again over here.
Yeah. Not fair.
Exactly, Discord. There was a shitload of capping about succession. That's the other thing too. These states can talk that shit. They don't really want that. Nah. They don't really want that.
If they get the federal funding cut off from them and then have to deal with the rest of the states,
bro.
Nah.
They don't. That's like you said, Discord, it's cap. That shit's all cap. This is political maneuvering. This is rhetorical shit to get their base all hyped up about this. This is to make them, this marketing. It's to make them look like that they are today's version of George Washington and Thomas Jefferson and the freedom fighters. We are willing to say, fuck out of here. No, you're not. You don't want that. You don't want that. You don't want it. Because if you're a sovereign state in the middle of these United States here, then the federal government is always going to look out for the federal government. It's like, oh, are you an enemy state? Are you doing things over there that could possibly fuck up everything else? We're gonna be spying on you. You're not that freedom. You think you're never gonna have that freedom. You never.
Yeah. Thanks. All right. So if you want to be cheeky and do per capita stats, let's check out this one.
Okay.
Rates of firearm homicides per 100,000 population. I'll give y'all one guess.
Surely we come out on top with that.
The United States of America is number one at 4.12. The next closest country is Chile at 1.82.
Wow.
The next closest country
Wow.
is Canada at 0.5.
You know why shit doesn't get solved either? I'm gonna tell you why. Because people will rather put on their pom-poms and their poodle skirts and kick their legs really high and wear the jersey than actually dealing with the issue.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. So I live in this house. And I like the house that I'm living in. Could there always be a better house? Absolutely. But when something goes wrong here, I don't go, fuck that. This is our house and it's fine. You know what I do? We got to get that shit fixed.
Facts.
When the plumbing was acting trash, I didn't circle the wagons. Me and my family didn't circle the wagons around the house and go, okay, but so what? It's still our house. No. We went and got that shit fixed.
Right.
As long as we do the pom-pom shit and the cartwheels, what the fuck am I talking about? I'm not even gonna be here. Do what you want. do what you want. As you were. As you were. It looks like it's working out pretty good so far for you. So good. Keep it up. Keep it up. Keep it up.
Bruh. It's not even. I don't know. All right, hold up. There's another per capita. This one is different. This one is murders with firearms per million. We are actually number 10. And this goes with the reason of why you don't do mass shootings per capita, because what's number 3? Slovakia. How many people live in Slovakia? 438. So yeah, of course. Yeah, I don't know. It's
near impossible, Vermin. Near impossible.
I wonder if there's another way that we can do this.
Right. Paradigm shift takes time like a motherfucker. Unfortunately, time waits for no man.
Nah, B.
If you can't keep up, what happens?
Yo, mass shootings in the U.S., right? Bruh. In 2014, there were 273 of them motherfuckers. Like, it's not.
I'm going to go on the limb and say that's not optimal.
No.
No.
Like, sure, okay. When you break that down to 300 million people, that's less than one per person. Okay.
Right here, Joe. It's impossible when moneyed interests profit off of the chaos. Until we, because I'm still here, till we get a handle on that, the level of resistance to change, also how easily people are swayed by narratives, also how jingoism is very effective for a huge swath of the population. All you have to do is put some guy in a jet with a United States symbol of a military on it and start playing "I went to the danger zone" and see him fly by, and people just right. That shit is effective as a motherfucker. That's why they do it.
Oh yeah,
that shit's effective.
Absolutely.
That's why they do it. And if it gets you in your fifis and you start feeling a certain type of that nostalgia for what you think was, although I would argue for some of us that no, it was never been that. It's never been that. But whatever. If you can't get out of that like fast enough to say, okay, this is an issue here. And who knows? The shit that Vermin brought up is a solid, valid point. There are over 300 million people here with varying interest, varying states of seriousness.
Sure.
it might be an impossible mission because life comes at you fast. And like you said, paradigm shifting takes time. But if the conditions are moving this way at a certain speed, and we've seen what comparative speed does on the roads.
Facts.
We've seen what it does on the roads. That little old lady driving slow as a motherfucker. It's gonna cause an accident. It's gonna cause an accident. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, this conversation could all be mute. And in 200 years, this place might be a utopia.
Point of order, sir.
It can happen. Point
of order, sir.
Right.
I don't.
No.
Don't give them hope.
You sound like Hawkeye. Don't give them hope.
Top 10 civilian gun-owning countries. I'll give you a guess. This is estimated number of firearms per 100 residents.
Oh, I already know who's number one. Czechoslovakia. Yugoslavia.
The United States is number one with 120.5. Number two, and here's the thing: like we act, not we, but the royal we act like when the numbers bear such stark contrasts. Number one is the United States with 120.5 numbers of firearms per 100 residents. Number two, Yemen is 52.8. It's half. It's less than half.
Yeah.
Number three, 39. Number four, 39. Number five,
of course,
34.
on purpose.
Like what?
Hey, look, man. I'm trying to tell you. There are things that need to be addressed that I don't see being any closer to being addressed. And some of these things people have been talking about since I was a kid. If you go and look at some old news programs, old Meet the Press, old Face the Nation, the McLaughlin group that used to air on PBS, go look at some of them old ass shows and see what they're talking about.
Right.
The same shit. The same shit. And look, like I said, y'all can do what you want to do. But while I'm here, I'm gonna comment on it. When I'm not here no more, it's not that shit ain't.
I mean, it is.
Ain't on my business.
So,
but
to the point that you were making with, I think it was Discord. So California has a ban on assault weapons. Nevada doesn't.
So what that mean? I don't understand. Hold up. I don't understand the reference. What that mean? How is that relevant?
It mean that it don't matter. New Jersey, New York, Connecticut.
How close is Vegas to California?
It's kind of close. It's kind of close. New Jersey, New York, Connecticut all have assault rifle bans.
See?
Pennsylvania don't.
Oh, shit. Damn.
Yeah, so
damn.
Again,
I mean,
and since there aren't check stops at state borders, because oftentimes you'll actually be on, it still would be possible to do, but that would be possible to be authoritarian.
It would be, and nobody wants
and
to do
time
that.
And all that. Yeah, it would be a whole mess.
Nobody wants to do that.
Yeah, but like when New York, Connecticut, Massachusetts, New Jersey, and Maryland all have bans on assault weapons, but Pennsylvania, which is in the middle of all of them and bigger than all of them, does not. It don't really matter. Like that's not to say that the law shouldn't be there.
No, the law should actually be there.
Absolutely. But
okay, so I'm glad you brought that part up about the law thing, because a lot of times the argument is these laws are useless. People are going to break them anyway. And I say to you, if that is the going philosophy, if that's what we're going with, get rid of all of them. Because motherfuckers are still going to steal.
Literally every law is
still going to steal. You know what I'm saying? Like,
the only laws that don't get broken on a daily basis are the ones that are so obscure that they shouldn't be laws anymore.
Vermin, I would keep real with you. I don't know. Like he says, so what happens when you make them illegal in the whole country? They just come from out of the country.
I can't tell you that, but what I can tell you is there is some correlation. Now, whether it's causation or not, I can't say. Of course, I can't say 100%.
Right.
But there's correlation with that stat that I just gave about civilian owning guns per capita versus homicides. What percentage of those are by gun, and suicides, and what percentage of those by gun, and how many mass shootings have they correlate
right
with the places that have less of that shit having less more strict gun regulation.
Right.
That's what I can tell you. That's what the stats say.
Right.
So
I'm gonna give you my position on it right now. I am not anti-gun. I worked in the gun business for years. I built M14s, T48s, Mausers, and shit like that. And yes, Mausers, that old ass, yeah. I was in that industry for years. I worked for a company called Arms Corps of America in Arbutus, Maryland, for years. My sister worked there too. I am not anti-gun by no means, but that does not mean we can't do some shit better. And the idea of throwing the good out because it's not perfect, I ain't jacking it.
Right.
We don't do that with anything else.
Right.
We don't do that with anything else. You know what I'm saying? Oh, cool. Let's talk about Switzerland. What's going on? What you want to talk about?
What happened?
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm missing something. What happened with the counselor that runs the groups I'm in used to run groups in prisons? They said the biggest problem they noticed was people were either over disciplined or not disciplined. What was that in reference to?
Where's that at?
Right above Joe talking about homosexuals.
Oh, okay. Joe says in Switzerland they have guns, but ammunition is highly. I've heard that.
That's the thing. That's the thing as well. Chris Rock made a joke that if bullets were $5,000 a piece, we have a lot less gun violence.
Oh shit. That's hilarious.
I mean, I don't know. It's for health and possibly people who get real skittish about breaking gun laws. Those that don't care are usually doing shit that would already put them away anyway. I'm pro-gun, but I think we need a way to qualify people by mental health and possibly have fun safety checks.
Wow.
Listen. I just don't.
That's crazy, McKenna. McKenna just sent me some stats on that are on. It's
do tell.
Basically, for hold up. Let me see. U.S. 0.03 mass shootings per 100,000 people. Russia 0.015. France 0.0112 or 12. Germany, goddamn, 0.006. Canada 0.010. After that, it's literally 2 or less shootings. That's not a good measure. For just this year, we are still 3 times any other country, discounting Russia war, which still has only had half of ours per capita, with France about 1/5 of our population and Canada 1/10. So flukes are more likely to skew data.
Right. Facts.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm saying. That's
Mm-hmm.
why on that list,
yo, Cindy is ass. McKenna has stats. Color me shocked.
But that is exactly the point that I was making when I was talking
Yeah.
about that damn list, because these are countries who have more similar population to the United States.
Right.
That's why they're closer and or above them. The countries on that damn list that were number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
I think
we get into this. This is what I mean by malaise, yo. We get into this thing where if we can't figure out a perfect solution, then we won't do anything. Right. And it's hard to square this circle where America's most powerful country can do anything, but we can't do that.
But we don't. Yeah.
We just can't.
Yeah.
I know them other countries, but it's circumstances. Right. We can't do nothing about that. Yeah. It is what it is, folks.
You know what it goes back to? Old money.
Yeah. Old money and the power of suggestion through the control of media outlets, the control of certain narratives, and money in politics. A lot of these politicians will support what their donors want them to support. Mm-hmm. So if the people that are donating the most amount of money to campaigns and to parties, and also having these fucking dinners, setting these dinners up where these motherfuckers go in there and it's $100,000 a plate and some shit like that, like whatever they want, that's what's going to happen. A lot of the shit that you see not getting fixed here is because motherfuckers with a lot of money don't want it fixed.
Right.
Because to them, it's not broken. That's what it's supposed to be doing.
Thanks.
So the question for the citizenry, if we can ever get on any page, the same page about anything is what the people that are donating the money to these politicians that are controlling media outlets is what they want, what we need. Now, before we can go to them and say that, we got to decide amongst ourselves, because we are so fragmented, so balkanized at this point. Like I said, man, I don't have faith in anything just for the sake of having faith in it. Yeah. I don't. I need to see some reasons. I need to see some possibilities. I need to see where the variables that get us there. Where's the connector point that could possibly get us there?
Right.
And typically what I see with a lot of these things, it's not even just about the gun stuff. It's about a whole bunch of stuff here. Is I see the ideal. I see where we are. And I don't see the connective tissue of how we get closer to that.
Point of order, sir. That is my entire point.
Yeah.
This is why solutions based on ideals do not work. They don't work. They don't work. They don't work. Ideals are just that. In the perfect world, which doesn't exist, so shut up.
Yeah.
That's the end of that statement. In a perfect world, you're right.
Bro, listen, there are legitimate things that Martin Luther King gave his life for. That they made it, it was the ideal, and they made a connection point that didn't get us to the ideal.
But it got close.
But it got For some of these other issues, I only hear, for instance, on the left, I hear what they want. I hear what they want with the gun stuff. I hear what they want. I also see where we are. I don't see the connective tissue, how we get
here's the thing.
There. I don't see it.
Here's the thing. I say it the way that I say it for brevity's sake, but that's not exactly what I mean. What I mean exactly is you can have an ideal in mind when you make a solution, because your goal should always, if you've been in any type of competitive group organized thing,
right,
your goal should always be perfection.
Right.
You're never going to achieve it,
but the goal
that's not the point.
Yeah,
the goal should always be perfection.
Yeah,
but the solution should
should always exceed your grasp.
Exactly.
Right.
The solution should not center only on the perfect scenario.
Right.
Because that's not how any of this works.
Right. So I want to address this. What Verma says. I have to have some faith in this country. My kids call this home.
Tell them to leave.
Eventually, my grandchildren and great grandchildren probably will too. And then he furthers that I've struggled with misanthropy for a long time, but it accomplishes nothing. Bro, this first part, I get this.
Mm-hmm.
If in your mind, this is the only place in the world you feel like you can live, this is it for you. I understand that. If this is where it is for you, of course you got to think things can change. Because the other thing we just got finished talking about, your reach should exceed your grasp. Of course you should be thinking that. However, that's how you feel. You don't know. When your kids become adults and make their own decisions,
Yeah.
you don't know. When they have kids, you don't know.
Yeah.
I think the difference, the space in between your position and my position is, I don't see this place as the only place I can live.
Right. Nah, fuck that.
I don't see that. Like for me, I have other options. Not that I'm going to someplace that's a utopia, but it doesn't have to be. This ain't one.
This ain't not even close.
Right.
And
so
the thing
there's
about
all problems no matter where you go. It's just some of us are comfortable with the problems here, and some of us are tired of it.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing about misanthropy does by itself doesn't discontribute to any solutions.
Mm-hmm.
I am a misanthrope.
Unless it's too generalized. Like
right.
Unless you think for everything that is the response.
Yeah, that's an issue at that point.
Yeah,
but I'm a misanthrope 100%. I hate these motherfuckers. I don't like people.
Yeah,
but I'm still able to pull myself out of that and look at solutions.
I'm glad you said that. Because we engage in that on a regular basis, and that has not prevented me from moving forward in my life.
Correct.
And if you was to see the condition that I was in years and years and years back, the mentality I had years and years and years back, and contrast it with where I am now, at the very least, even if you want to say it's anecdotal, that is an example of how that shit did not really hurt me.
Shit, Vermin, you hear the shit I be talking about work. I still make that shit work. Like I don't like you. My thing is,
Vermin said, "I'm an optimistic misanthrope."
I'm a realistic misanthrope.
Yeah, that's me. That's me.
See, because here's the thing. People talk about people labeling them. What people need to do is worry about them labeling themselves, and that label become their entire personality. That's the issue. I'm a misanthrope, but my entire personality is not rooted in misanthropy.
Exactly.
That's not how that works.
It's the trimming.
Yeah.
It's the stuff that allows us to go to make moves, to accomplish things and all that other shit. This is core things because we have a hope in ourselves. We believe in ourselves.
Yeah.
I don't believe in the rest of you motherfuckers.
No, motherfucker. In general, I ain't gonna trust it. I ain't gonna use you.
You know what I'm saying? I believe in me.
And here's the thing. Surprise me.
Yeah. Yo, exactly. I would rather be pleasantly surprised than sorely disappointed.
That's it.
And guess what? Here's the thing. Here's the good news for all of that. Part of the optimism. The people that I keep in my circle, they prove me wrong daily.
Yeah. They are the exceptions that prove the rule.
Yeah.
Yeah. People ain't shit. Well, you have people. Yeah. I have very specific people that tend to be shit.
Right.
Like, what do you mean?
Hold up. People ain't shit. As a rule.
Right.
But Cindy is dope.
Absolutely. And this is what I'm saying. Like, you have
dope. Like,
there's no it's the philosophy of the yin and the yang. There is no one without its opposite.
Exactly.
Even if not, I'm gonna exaggerate for effect.
Mm-hmm.
If 98% of the world's population was just some ain't shit motherfuckers,
right?
There's still 2% out there.
Facts.
That given the right circumstance, right opportunity, could make some shit happen.
Right. Vermin,
yeah,
100%.
I see. I don't apply that. You don't have to be smart to. You don't have to be the type of smart that we're talking about,
right?
In order to make your existence easier.
Facts. Also, with that amount of progress, which I engage in on a daily, I'm with
100%.
I'm with it. But with that progress, we're not gonna act like that there aren't some red flags that come with that, because some of the same things that we're looking at as progress, if we continue to be slaves to our baser instincts, those very things could wipe us the fuck out. All that technology. A classic example: the good goes with the bad. We have the internet.
Mm-hmm.
The internet allows us to disseminate information faster than at any time in human history.
Facts.
And I don't have to tell anybody here the downsides of the internet.
Bruh.
Everybody here knows the downsides of the internet. Everybody here sees that. So yeah, the progress is dope.
Yeah. Oh,
but
1,000%.
with all of that comes danger.
And we celebrate
all
those
of
victories.
That comes danger.
We celebrate those victories, but here's the thing. Good job. What else?
Right. What else?
I'm just saying, good job.
Mm-hmm.
You did your thing with that.
Mm-hmm.
What's next?
Yeah.
Because there's still problems that need to be solved.
Right.
As long as there are problems that need to be solved, people need to be held responsible for solving those problems. It's that simple.
That's the bar now, right there.
What people are we talking about? Depends on the problem.
Depends on the problem and depends on location. Because I'm not responsible for all the things that happen in your house.
Yeah.
Like that's some shit that's going on over there that I'm not privy to and I don't know.
Right.
So no, I'm not responsible for that. But this is what I do feel responsible for. If you and I live on the same block, and then there's a flood. Oh shit, my neighbors are fucked up because I'm fucked up. Right. We gotta do something. Put some sandbags up. Something. We gotta do something. Right. When they had a hurricane around here, knocking trees down. You know what the neighbors around here did? A lot of these neighbors don't speak to each other. No other goddamn time when it may be a high and they go about their business. Everybody went to everybody else's house. It's like, yo, you all right? Yo, you good? Yo, you all right?
Right.
You smell? Anybody hurt?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So there's something
being neighborly.
We're in the same. In my house, mind your business. But in the neighborhood,
right.
Some young street toughs keep coming around,
walking through to music, snapping
snapping their fingers and swirling their watch,
right,
watches and shit, like, and they're consistently coming through here creating an issue. That's a neighborhood issue. We gotta deal with that.
All right, hold on, Vermin. Stay right there, because I'm losing this conversation that Discord and McKenna and Cindy were having. So Discord, this is the exact point that we're talking about. You say, I'm not saying we shouldn't do it. I'm just saying biometric locks would get bypassed often enough for it to not be a great solution. It is not the solution. It is a part of the solution. Yeah. We cannot disregard something that can be a part of a solution just because it on its own has flaws.
And it won't be perfect.
Right.
It won't be perfect. Like, for instance,
you can't just disregard
a security guard is not perfect.
No, in no way, shape, or form.
But these companies still got them.
And because they're part of the
they're
solution.
Part of the overall, it's part of the overall thing. A holistic approach, if you will.
Absolutely. Vermin says, I was just talking about not having faith in humanity. Look how far we've come to say we won't make it past this is a bit presumptuous, I feel.
Nobody's saying
I do presume. I absolutely do presume that we won't make it past this. And it depends on what this you're talking about.
Yeah, that's it. That's because it right there.
There are certain things. I'm not sure how long you were around last week, but we were talking about the concept of old money. And with old money comes old power.
Right.
With that old power comes people that are dedicated to keeping the status quo.
Right.
Well, if the situation for the citizens has changed such that the status quo is not acceptable anymore, they are now faced with not being able to do anything because the people that have the power to change the thing want to keep the thing the same.
Right.
In that scenario, what are the words that he used? We won't make it past that.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is no road.
There are some things that we won't make it past. Like it reminds me of when I hear I've heard people say that well, the Lord won't give you anything you can't take. Plenty of people die. It was given something.
Plenty of people die.
And they ain't make it. And they ain't make it. So in with that, there are some things we can solve.
Absolutely.
There
are a bunch of things we can solve.
Bunch of things we can solve. Now, it's about not necessarily can we do it, will we do it?
Yeah, and that's
do we have the will to do it?
Right. But not even always the will. Some of it is not you personally, but confusing an individual with a group.
Yeah.
Because for any problem that we have, individuals could absolutely solve them.
Yes, but could you? Is there a group solution?
Yeah. But is there some type of entity preventing them from being able to do that?
Mm-hmm.
Is there some type of entity preventing them from being able to get to the right people that could possibly do it?
Right.
Like there.
Well, I'm gonna give you an example.
I'm
gonna give you a quick example right now. All right. So my medicine bottle. It's missing a top. There you go. So me as an individual, I just solved my problem there. Because nobody was trying to stop me. Nobody was over there with a gun, a bow and arrow, rushing me, trying to tackle me to keep me putting top on.
Right.
We some of these problems we face stiff opposition.
Mm-hmm.
And it is not guaranteed that we're going to win that.
Yeah.
And when you look at it from a standpoint of perspective, if they're controlling the resources, our opposition has already a leg up. The odds decrease that certain things are going to get fixed in the way that we would think. But then too, it's a layered issue. It's a layered issue because when I say we, what we am I talking about? The point you made earlier about it being a lot of people over here. 300 million. That is valid as fuck.
Yeah.
So who's the we?
All right. So, Vermin, have you ever tried to plan something with 5 people who have equal say on what happens, and there happen to be more than 4 possibilities?
Yo, that's hilarious because I'm thinking of a real life situation where that's hilarious.
So, and here's the thing: do those people have the capacity, the ability to solve that issue? Absolutely.
Yes.
1000%. We've seen examples of that happen. Absolutely. What are the likelihoods that will happen? Given 5 people with 4 choices.
Y'all gonna argue for a minute.
Y'all gonna argue for a minute. And so while you're waiting, the opportunity might pass to be the most the highest chance of success to accomplish the goal. Right. Now you might be dealing with what was the perfect solution, quote unquote perfect, now being less potent, and y'all now reached that perfect solution, but it's no longer as perfect as it used to be. There are things that has changed. The problem has evolved while y'all were arguing about if y'all were going to try to solve it. And I get you're an optimist, and I think that's what happened to Tim. Verm, I get that you're an optimist. I'm not trying to convince you otherwise. I know it might sound like that because we're arguing the opposition, but I'm not trying to get you to change that. I'm just defending my position that in your example, I will concede that there are things we can't solve now in our present mental state as a whole, but time changes everything. Time does change everything, but you're assuming that time is going to change these things for the positive. For the entirety, I'm guessing he broke it. His shit went out. StreamYard. Okay, he'll be back soon. But when you say no reason to be here, do you mean living? Because that's not true. There are a bunch of reasons to live. If you mean being in the United States, you're absolutely correct. There's no reason to stay in the United States. That's a whole nother conversation. But to your point about time changing everything, time does change everything. Literally, we cannot avoid change, but that does not mean the change is going to be the positive one. Change can always make things worse. There's always, it's just like with viruses mutating. Yes, in general, we have been lucky that often when viruses mutate, they eventually mutate to be weaker. That is not a given. It's not a given that they're going to mutate to be weaker. It's just that simple. And things could end up being great. It's absolutely possible. I'll give you an example. The conversation about reparations in the United States of America. That has changed several. Mike's stupid. That has changed several times. There was a point in time where it was not on anybody's table. And then there was a point in time where it was on somebody's table and it was being talked about, and everybody was so optimistic that it was going to happen. We were going to get somewhere, and then it went back off the table. And then they went back on the table, and people were talking about it, and everybody was optimistic they was going to get somewhere, and then it went back off the table. And then now they're at a point where they're talking about specific states doing reparations. And some people aren't understanding that in some of those cases, the legislation that was passed was just to have a committee to talk about it. I don't know if I'm not sure if there are any places where that actually legislated that it would happen, but I know quite a few of the places that have said that there was like movement in it. They were talking about legislation being made for talks to happen. And when talks happen, you still are back in that same circle. He said, I don't think it will happen either, but I have to hope it will and strive forward. Our existence is enough. If you want to be nihilistic, then hey, that's it. Tim broke it. Yeah, I get it. I get that idea, but that hinges on you believing that you being here means that things need to. I'm sorry, that you being here only works if things are the best for everybody, and that's not realistic. There are ways to make things better for you in spite of things not being great for everybody, and there are even ways to do that without hurting other people. I think that's kind of what you got to focus on in this type of scenario. Like, you can't take the plight of the world on your individual shoulders, because that's not how anything gets solved. It's just not how it works, especially since we don't live in a dictatorship. There's no one person that makes all of the decisions in this place. So we can't. I don't think that makes sense to look at it that way. What did he do? But Vermin says my property has to live their life. Progeny has to live their life in hell. I had a negligent handling. Negligence is directly related to ability to actually make an effect, have an effect. So if you're worried about, let's say, police brutality, right? Because the story often focuses on Black people for several reasons. But the fact is, police kill too many citizens here, period, no matter what the race of the person that they're killing. There's effectively nothing you as an individual can do to stem that issue. So in the event that somebody someone from your lineage that comes after you is affected by that in any way, shape, or form, whether it be a friend of theirs has to deal with it or whatever the case may be. That wasn't from you being negligent. That's not how that works. You didn't create that. And I think that's when we talk about how the United States has marketed itself and propaganda and all that type of stuff. That's a good question. I'll answer that next. When we start talking about the United States and the propaganda and the marketing that they give, a part of that is, I feel, to stoke that sentiment that you're presenting right now. Like, if you're around and you didn't do anything, then you caused the problem. Well, yeah, in certain scenarios, but again, that should be commiserate to the amount of ability that you had to solve any of these issues. There's nothing that you individually can do about police brutality. So what is my opinion on someone who doesn't care at all about police brutality? I can't rock with anybody that doesn't care about police brutality, because it affects my people at a rate that is not consistent with the percentages of the population. In my old age, I'll give you a less serious example. I was watching the show, and funny enough, I'm going to do a video about this, deeper dive on this on the Multi-World Entertainment channel. It'll be out within the next month or so, because I'm still writing the script, and I have a video that I want to put out before that. But anyway, I was watching this show that I watched when I was younger. And in watching it, oh, he's back. I was watching the show. Ew.
Yeah, I had to use the phone, bro. Something's going on. I don't know if it's my camera. Something is going on over here.
You broke it.
Yes, and two, because power. But
okay, anyway, so Vermin. So the example that I'll give you, well, to catch team up, Vermin asked, what do I think about somebody who doesn't care at all about police brutality? My answer was, I can't rock with him because it affects my people at a higher rate. Yep. But the example I'll give to help move you there without it being so personal and so serious. I watched a TV show recently that I've watched before. And when I watched it this time, I noticed things that I didn't notice the first time. And one of the things I noticed was how the writer of the show treats Black couples. I did not notice it the first time I watched it. So yesterday, I was talking to the person who first introduced me to the show. And I was telling her, like, yo, did you realize that such and such and such and such? I'm not giving details because I'm doing a video on it.
Right.
Did you realize such and such such? And she was like, well, why is that a big deal? What? You don't understand. You as a Black woman don't understand why a Black showrunner completely disregards the idea of a long-term Black relationship. I don't know if I like on that issue. I can't rock with you.
Yeah,
I just can't, because that directly impacts me and my people. I can't
exactly.
I just can't do that. Remember says, so if I don't strive for a better future that affects my people, then how could I expect any of my progeny to have any respect for me? Because striving is not exactly what we're talking about. What did you do? I know why you're doing it, but what did you do?
I don't know.
No, you got to mute your phone.
Oh yeah, I do got to mute.
Actually, you ain't even got to worry about it.
What you talking about?
I already did it.
Oh, good.
But anyway, your striving is an active term. Again, your lack of action only matters if your action would have had any effect.
Also, there's something I want to say before everything went to shit. So I relate to something Discord said about still striving to make things better. I relate to it because it's warrior speak. I know of what you speak because that's how I am. I'm going to fight regardless.
Right.
That does not mean I will not recognize when the forces against us have the upper hand.
Right.
And that I will fight till I'm dead on principle, because that's how stubborn I am about a lot of shit. That does not mean I do not acknowledge that I'm going to die in this struggle. I am going to die on this
and
hill.
to that point, Verma's question, I disagree. Do you think Rosa Parks expected anything to change? Rosa Parks did not just sit in the front of the bus. There was a whole bunch of other shit that Rosa Parks was doing with a whole bunch of other people that were already making inroads on making change. This is not that.
The official story that they've given you on that is mostly cap.
Right.
That was a whole organized thing.
Right.
That was a whole organized thing.
That was not one person deciding to do something against.
That
was not one person persevering in this. No, it was an entire organized thing.
And she wasn't the only one on that bus.
No. She did not act alone. She did not. No, none of that. None of that. They make you. There are several.
They did to her what they did to MLK. They turned her into Santa Claus.
Right.
How does he give the presents to all the children in one night?
Exactly. It's where the magical Negroes trope comes from. That story has been whitewashed.
Very much so.
Yeah, that's not what happened. In reality, what an individual person can do is limited.
And that's just
that
real.
Simple.
That's just real.
It's just that simple. Now, if you are in a situation where you have a groundswell of a movement that you can join and be a part of and all that good stuff, then absolutely.
Joe said, I want to be a magical. Me too.
That's funny.
Give me powers.
That's funny. That reminds me of a TikTok video I did because they were talking about, somebody on Twitter was talking about how all of the it was at a certain point, all the black people in the MCU are sidekicks, and all the black people, all the black people in the DC universe, not the movies but the shows. All the black people in the DC shows are magical Negroes, and I'm like, first of all, I'm not even going to talk about the DC accusation because we're talking about superheroes.
Yeah.
Everybody is magical.
Everybody's magical there.
Like, what are you? Shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
right. But yeah, Vermin. So like, don't please stop putting so much pressure on yourself.
Yeah.
Stop putting so much pressure on yourself.
Yeah.
It's not necessary. It's not helpful.
There are varying degrees of the things you can change. Work on the things you can change.
Right.
But be cognizant of the things that you do not, that's not within your power, and find a way around it or through it.
Yeah.
But putting that type of pressure on yourself, this Herculean effort that a lot of the times that they say that these people that they tell us to look up to, which that doesn't mean that they're not worthy of being looked up to.
Absolutely.
But a lot of the ways that they displayed or talked about what they did has been inflated like a motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
It's been inflated like a motherfucker. And it's good for inspiration's sake.
Right.
It's good to rally people around these folklores and this myth about a lot of this shit, which is why they do it. That's why they do it.
That's exactly the point we were making. McKenna says a part of whitewashing, reducing it down to single people and events without acknowledging who built it up.
Exactly.
It's the point that we're making. It's the point that we're talking like. It's like there's only so much that you can do as an individual. That is a fact. That is not subjective. That is how it works. As an individual, there are certain things you can do.
I've been saying the same thing, Joe. That side point he made about superhero fatigue is ridiculous. You ever hear anybody say crime drama or murder mystery? No, people still want to watch them. They still love horror films. Well, that's you. You're kind of different. But
I personally have those type of fatigue. Yes, I do. I'm tired of watching them motherfuckers. Not the superhero, the other shit.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm tired. But anyway, there's no individual that can just do. Like I said, we don't live in a dictatorship, and even in dictatorships, that individual still has people.
Yeah, he has people.
Still has people.
Discord says what I be like. Regardless, striving for change is worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Just fight. Think of shit don't change, then that's on. Yo, like I feel like I'm going to fight.
Yeah.
Regardless, I'm too stupid and stubborn not to.
Right.
But that don't mean I don't understand what my odds are.
Right.
I get the odds. I've been jumped by like 10 people, me and just a couple of homeboys. I ain't run. They ain't run. And I didn't run because they didn't run. You know what I'm saying? Like, because we already had that decision. We either run together or we fight together. Niggas ain't running. Niggas ain't running. So I was well aware of the fact that we wasn't gonna win that. I was well aware of that.
I told this story before. Me and my cousin, we started not running. We had to run.
You had to eventually. Fight. And see, that sort of fight that I'm talking about wasn't the ones the ones. You know, where your life is in danger, nigga. Like, this is just people mad about some shit. Right. Throw a few blows, you make it jump, make it hit a couple times.
It was what, like 3 on 10?
Yeah. Something like that.
See, mine was like 2 on 15.
Nah, B. We ain't doing that.
So no, we tried. No, we tried. We tried. It just didn't. It quickly I saw that this wasn't going in our favor.
Yeah. But no, when it's serious, like I'm saying, it's like it's a difference between a scuffle y'all having in school or at a party or something like that. And the difference between that and these motherfuckers, I spent the better part of 2 years with niggas trying to kill me. Right? It's a difference.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
I didn't know what the fuck it was about because it ain't had nothing to do with me. It was after my cousin.
Right.
So I don't know what the fuck was about to happen.
Right.
But Vermin, no. See, I don't know if we got lost somewhere along the way. The sentiment that we're telling you is not to fight.
No.
That's not the point we're making. The point that I'm making is there are things that are impossible for you to do, and you can't hold yourself accountable for not being able to do it.
Not being able to do it, yeah. And also, there are times when you have to, in order for you to get the results you want, you have to acknowledge you by yourself cannot win this, and then seek another path to get the same thing done.
Right.
And these are things that I've had to learn. Bro, listen. At the time when I first started making music, there wasn't no internet. And nobody, and I repeat, nobody was coming to Baltimore to snatch rappers up.
You know,
that shit wasn't happening. All right? That shit wasn't happening. And I knew that it was going to be a difficult journey to get noticed, let alone to get signed.
Yeah.
Right? So, but I still kept fighting at it. I just had to do different tactics. And then when certain things opened up, there was an internet. All right. Oh shit. Somebody said, you could be sharing your shit online, and a lot of people will see that. And if they like your shit, they might start fucking with you. And I was like, because I wasn't online before then. I told the story before. I wasn't even online. Man, fuck that shit. I don't give a fuck about that. That's when I got online with the sole purpose of disseminating my music, getting it out there to more people and shit. If I hadn't have done that, I could have wasted time and money. I could have kept going upstate, trying to get seen, trying to, you know what I'm saying? I could have kept doing that. None of that shit got me nowhere. Real talk. None of that shit. What got me somewhere is when this shit opened up. Yeah. And I can literally be in my studio finishing up shit and uploading. Here, get that. Here, get that. That's when some shit worked.
Thanks.
I had to acknowledge, one, I didn't have the funding to be able to continue to travel to do this and that. No. That's basically what we're talking about. We're not telling you not to fight. We're saying that sometimes you're in a situation where there's a more efficient way to do to get done what you're trying to get done. And it doesn't always require it just be you.
Right.
Go get help. And if you can't get help doing it that way, because nobody wants to help you, find a different way that doesn't require that. But there are moments, I agree with you. There are moments where there's really no choice in this. It's principle. I'm going to swing on you.
But you also have to realize when you're about to die.
Yes,
because
absolutely.
You don't win when you die.
You don't win.
You have to go away and re up and collect yourself.
Marshal your forces.
Right. You have to realize when you're fighting a dying battle. And
Yes,
if you
sir.
die in that battle, you have done nothing. As a matter of fact, if you die in that battle, you've done less than nothing because you knew you were going to die and you chose to die anyway, and you accomplished nothing.
Oh, but what if it's this situation though?
Mm-hmm.
I'm only here to prevent them.
Get
into my folks.
No, Vermin, that is incorrect. we are not.
Okay, that was the ultimate victory.
So, if your progeny still depend on you being alive, and you're fighting a battle that can kill you, I thought the ultimate victory was making the things better for your progeny.
But like I said, again, I can think of scenarios where,
of course,
my death
but the fact that you say I can think of scenarios proves that that's the exception to the rule.
No, of course, absolutely. The majority of the majority of the time, it's not going to be like that.
Yeah, no.
The majority of the time, it's not going to be like that.
Move you to go ahead and die in this scenario.
Not at all.
No,
but there are.
Don't
I'm talking strictly.
But you live.
Example.
You live to fight another
day. Look, classic example. There was a Thor comic book where they went to Hela's realm, and they were trapped down there, and it was him and there's a contingent of Asgardians, and they fought wars against the dead. Right, the character Scourge, and Thor got hurt, but he was still fighting. The character Scourge heard Thor say, "Look, once we make that bridge, we can leave her realm. But if we get overwhelmed, we won't be able to do that. I will stay and keep them at bay,
right?
While everybody else gets across that bridge to get out of Hela's realm." Scourge knocks him the fuck out, gives him to the other Asgardians, and he stays.
Right.
And he had the 2 M16 thing. He's like, you saw, and that's where that came from. That came from that story right there. Right. And once they ran out of bullets, he's swinging them, he's doing all this, and they got out. He knew he was going to die, but his goal was not to live. His goal was to get them the fuck across. These scenarios do not happen all the time. They don't. They don't.
Right.
For the average person, these scenarios
the exception, not the rule.
They don't.
Like,
you know what I'm saying?
If there are people actively hurting you and your progeny is right there, if you die, that's not going to stop them from attacking your people.
Thanks.
Like, it's just not.
Thanks.
Obviously, we went down a rabbit hole.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. But like I said, I do respect what Vermin is saying, because I get where he's coming from with that. I have a very similar mentality with some things. It's just that tactics over everything. Tactics over everything. You know what I'm saying?
Toe, my guy. Toe.
Tactics over everything. We need some toe shirts.
Yes. Yes, we do.
Toe shirts.
Absolutely.
Tactics over everything.
Oh my God.
But
yeah, don't put
that pressure on yourself like that.
Yeah,
bro.
Like that's not helpful. That doesn't actually help you achieve anything.
Right.
Pressure makes diamonds, but also busts pipes.
That's
just saying.
You gotta know what you gotta be very aware of what you can handle and what you can't handle.
Right.
Listen, and the thing is, as men, we do get conditioned from society to pretend like we can handle every situation that comes our way. And the reality is, all of us have fell victim to that. I fallen victim to that many times over the years. And then you bite off more than you can chew, and it break your jaw. You know what I'm saying? It breaks your fucking jaw, right? Nice. But as you get older, you start to realize the limitations that you have for whatever reason. Physical, you may not be in the best of health anymore. Or it could be cognitive, like your memory is not what it used to be. You know what I'm saying? Or you don't learn things at the same rate as you once learned it before. Something they used to say about Michael Jordan. The reason why Michael Jordan stayed so good playing basketball for so many years is because certain things, when he got older, he made adjustments.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't sit there and go, oh, no, because I fly. So y'all know I fly, and I'm a fly.
Right.
No, he made adjustments as he got older, and he played these younger dudes. And now it was about the wisdom and the stuff that he already knew through experience and what he observed about his opponents that he would take advantage of and shake them out their boots and do some other shit like that.
What's funny about that is it's the whole know when to hold them, know when to fold them thing.
Yeah.
Because Marshall Faulk had a very similar but opposite story. He said, when I knew it was time to retire, is that my entire career, if there are 3 people trying to tackle me, I always had to only worry about the third person. The moment that I had to start worrying about the first person, I knew it was time for me to
Yeah. It's time to sit down. Sit your ass down.
Put that old gun away.
Hey, listen,
gunfighter. The porch with the rocket ship.
With the spittoon down there, like
and the piece of straw in your mouth.
Back in my day, and the only time the old gunfighter comes back out is when all is lost. He has to be the guy, and he's a sacrificial lamb because he knows I ain't got long anyway. I still got some of these skills. Y'all fucking suck. This new generation of gunfighter suck. You fucking suck. And I'm gonna come out. I was a progeny. Y'all regular weed, and I'm about to come out here with these old skills that none of you motherfuckers have. Y'all got numbers on me. That's it. And I'm gonna try to feel you fuckers out. And then the cavalry come right as I catch one in the forehead. Ooh.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
That's it. You the old gunfighter. Sit your ass on the porch. Sit your ass on the porch. Look, y'all think I'm joking. There's gonna come a day when I'm gonna be that cow. I'm not doing shit. We got people for that. We got hosts now. We back to saying like I'm still writing comics because I love to do it.
Right.
But I'm not going to Comic Cons. I'm not going to every single one. I ain't doing that. Right. It's going to come a day. You're going to be like, damn, we don't be seeing Tim as much as we used to. Yep. It's coming. Because I know what I know when I need to know it. That's it.
All facts.
But anyway, we want to say this was a great discussion today.
Absolutely.
Despite the bullshit. With my shit going out. You know what I'm saying? This was a great discussion today. Unfortunately, I wish this week didn't display some of the worst behavior that I've seen from people in a long time.
Yeah.
But what can I say? It's where we are.
Yeah. It's the world we live in.
It's the world we live in. But anyway, I want to thank all of you guys for showing up once again for another Saturday of shenanigans on the Black Culture Geeks.
Yep.
Without you guys, we simply could not do this. There would actually be no purpose for us to do this. You know what I'm saying? So we appreciate it. And that's not just to our live audience, although specifically to them. But it's also to the people that don't get a chance to hear it live. And then check us out over on Spotify and them other places where we stream, whatever. So we really appreciate you guys for all of that shit. Be sure to check out my man Jada Nerd's channel.
Yep.
Of course. Also, I'm not sure if Graydon is streaming this weekend, but when he does, if you have not, I'm pretty sure everybody here has. If you're not subscribed to his channel, go subscribe to his channel as well. If you have not joined the Patreon yet, first of all, I'm going to thank all the Patreon members that have been there from day one, as well as the new ones that we got. You know what I'm saying? Like, but the ones that have been there for day one, you guys really help push us over the hump to publish these books and have a way to do it. So, like, we really appreciate you guys because you guys were literally our first revenue stream, consistent revenue stream, and that helped all of this shit, all of it. So, shout out to y'all for that. Also, let me give a shout out to my man Addy. The reason Addy's not here today, I don't know, but because I know of what he typically has to do,
Yeah.
He was doing some work or some shit he had to do. So shout out to him. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man Napalm for showing the fuck up this week. Shout out to my man Vermin for helping get that conversation going. You know what I'm saying? Like, and all of y'all, really, all of y'all.
Yeah,
especially McKenna with the stats. McKenna always come with the
stats.
Always come with the stats.
Facts.
And of course, check out my man Super Side Guys.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if you have not subscribed to the Majestic Comics YouTube channel, please do so. At your earliest convenience.
Same with the Multiworld.
Same with the Multiworld Entertainment channel. If you have not subscribed to that,
it's coming back soon.
Yes, 100%.
I got these 2 videos. Like I said, I got the one I was working on that I talked about that I'm working on.
Right.
And one very short, very nothing really coming out before that. The script is already done. I just got to literally record it.
Dope.
And some other shit, music and TikTok and Instagram and Facebook. I mean YouTube Shorts and all the shit, all the places that we be and doing stuff that we do.
Also, our the Majestic official website is going to be up soon. I'll let you guys know. That's how we trying to sync Kickstarter with that being ready and available for people to go and check it out as well. So we're gonna be doing things a little bit differently with this Kickstarter. But like I said, I'll give you guys more information on that once it's there. But anyway, for my man SPJ, I am Tombstone the Dead Man, and for the greater multi-world entertainment family, we are out.